Hello everybody, and welcome back to LRC for round number 9 of the Tier 1 season here at Suzuka for what could be a title deciding race. If our title protagonist actually joins the session. We're going to have to wait and see. My name is Coolest, and I am joined in the commentary box today, as always, by Alpha Max Nova.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the land of anime and whatever else happens after 11 PM here. So today we have one interesting qualifying session, of course, on the way, and also, as you said before, completely championship fight, which could be decided here, but there's a big but here, which is the fact that one of the two championship, fighters we should be seeing today isn't here. So quite an interesting start to this weekend, don't you agree?
Yeah, it's not the ideal scenario for Elias. I don't know if he's going to be joining the session midway through or not. I guess we're going to have to wait and find out on that front. And also, I will just ask, Max, can you go check the audio quickly, see if it sounds terrible or not?
I just did, and I can tell you it's completely fine, at least on my end. Twitch up, if you can hear any problems, just tell us, and we'll try to figure it out.
Alright, yeah, we've got, we do have some technical difficulties on my end. My audio is a nice crunchy sandwich. I can barely hear a thing, but I'm going to try and make do with it, and as long as it's good on the stream, then that's fine by me. So, yeah, we are here in Japan today, and it is going to be, presumably, a very interesting race. It's not a track you get to see, well, I suppose it's not a track that's come up too often in LRC, but we did have it on last season, and that was a very chaotic one. And actually was part of the set of races that decided the title, and we'll be doing the same here today, although, like we say, that is only if Elias decides to join. So yeah, no inclement weather this time, as we have side-by-side Slinks and one of the Red Bulls. That's either Lily or Trimmer Shave, I'm not sure who. Let's have a look. That would be Lily. So yeah, we have quite a few reserves in today, 6 of them, if I can count correctly, and yeah, 2 of them going side-by-side already.
Yep, and of course, there are a lot of things we could say about Suzuka, one of which is of course, the fact that this one is one of the hardest circuits to actually get right while driving. And I expect many people to get a little bit of invalidation during the first few laps here in qualifying. Of course, we are a little bit, let's say, ignoring the fact that drivers usually come here quite prepared, like we see them racing here for the first few laps in qualifying and then do the whole race maybe in one piece, but usually, when people come to race in this league, they do a little bit of practice beforehand, like in either single player or anything else, just to find out how the tower is and so on. So even though there's a lot of practice here, we can still expect a lot of chaos due to the difficulties and technicalities of the Suzuka circuit.
Yeah, one of the biggest difficulties I find with the track is that there's, as you'll see there, on the way into Spoon Curve, there's a lot of entrances to corners that don't have any curbs. So, on a controller especially, it's not so much an issue on a wheel, but on a controller it's very hard to try and gauge the perfect time to turn into a corner, and it's very easy to clip the grass, as we have our other title protagonist, Tama, who is the one who's trying to score as many points as possible today. He needs to, he needs to not be outscored by Elias by 12 points or less. Elias needs to outscore him by 12 points or more to win the title. However, Elias isn't here right now, so Tama seems pretty safe for keeping his hopes alive, and is looking pretty feisty as well, with a 126.5.
Yep, quite a nice time, of course, and as you can see, the main competition is almost a second away, but I think the grid will get a little bit closer. We still have a lot of people who can fight with Tamer. We saw a lot of surprises, for example, last week during the race in, remember correctly, it was Spa, right?
Yep. Indeed,
and yeah, I expect people like, for example, Bimpo to be closer to the fight for the lead, and of course also a bit other people like Loris, which actually I think is in P9 right now with a 159.3, which I don't think is actually his fastest lap for now. And yeah, I think although Tamer is favorite for a win, we should still wait and see, because this is tier 1 and we can never call out a winner before the race has even started.
Yeah, and that's a very good point. It was a great race this time last week. We got a fantastic 3-way scrap between Elias, Bimpo and Tama, who is currently at the top of the times. Bimpo still in the pits as things stand, doing his usual strategy of going out a little bit later in qualifying, and yeah, hoping for more of the same today, perhaps with a side of chaos in this race that is a little bit to be expected. It's quite a tricky track to race around this one. Not so much to the level of Imola, but still can be, yeah, mistakes are very much punished around here, and I think we may have had a mistake in the middle sector from Leland, who was, well, he might have actually just been letting traffic through, but you got yellow flags for a second. And yeah, well, that brings me on to an important topic, which is something you might notice if you're looking at the track map in the bottom right-hand corner, is sometimes, if there's a yellow flag, I think at turn 1, you will get a yellow flag that covers basically the entire track. So yeah, just don't worry about that. That doesn't mean that every single car has crashed. Just wanted to give you a warning and a heads up on that one. That's just a nice Codemasters bug.
Well, another Codemaster moment in one Codemaster masterpiece. So another thing we should actually point out is, well, we already talked about how Suzuka is one technical circuit and a difficult one, but I have to agree even more because I used to play and play still a little bit of Formula 1 games, not with a controller, not with a wheel, but with a bloody keyboard. So you can just imagine how hellish this track can be with a keyboard.
Yeah, it's not a fate I would ever wish upon my worst enemy, to be honest. But yeah, that said, if you do have a controller, or especially if you have a wheel, it is a very, very fun track to drive. A lot of the drivers like this. Well, a lot of the drivers like this track, but a lot of the drivers hate it as well. It's a little bit like Marmite, but I think with the changes that they made to traction this year, it's a lot more favourable, and a lot of the drivers have fallen back in love with a classic track, should we say? And yeah, well, I mean, hopefully that means we'll get a good race.
I think part of the fun of Suzuka is, getting into the rhythm, like understanding how the track works and how the car flows with the track, and that is not something like everyone can do. Like sometimes you have like a track and car combination that just works, even though you can't really explain why. And sometimes you don't. So if it doesn't click, you don't really enjoy Suzuka too much. But once it clicks, once you get how to get it right, how to get every single sector in the right way, and how to have fun, well, then it becomes easily our favorite, this one.
Yeah, and I think that's pretty good analysis. And somebody who seems to be enjoying things so far is Hashim, currently going in P5 and making his way through the middle sector now, out of Degna 2. It can be easy to lose traction there, but he makes a very good job of that. I think losing traction through Degna 2 is probably something we'll see more in the race than in qualifying. And here we go. Elias has joined the session, so the title fight is going to be on today. He's going to be able to set a qualifying lap as well, in slightly more high-pressure circumstances than he'd have liked, but he is here, and that means, yeah, title is potentially going to be decided in this race.
Well, I gotta ask, can he actually go on track? Because I can't see him on the leaderboard on the left, so I don't know if Codemasters allows you to get into the the qualifying session once you entered. But
yeah, he should be able to. That'll just be for him during the session. Once he actually loads into the track, he should be able to select his car, and then yeah, from then on, he should be allowed to get out the pits. So yeah. Give it a couple minutes time and we should be able to see him on the track. Meanwhile, his teammate goes third quickest with a 1:27.2. So yeah, Ferrari, they can also win the Constructors title today, I believe. I could be wrong on that, so don't quote me on it. We haven't got the stand-ins for this week, but yeah, so we have some shenanigans here. But Ferrari looking very strong.
Well, I mean, parking at the end of the pit lane is not something you would like to see in real life, but here, thankfully, it's a game, so you don't really have to worry too much. And, speaking of Ferrari, I just thought of something which is, well, a little bit off topic, but also a little bit in topic, which is the fact that, nowadays we know, well, this is a lawnmower, by the way, but nowadays we know now every single livery we're gonna see in Formula 1 next year, or actually this year. And, I think it's it's an interesting topic to point out, because now it feels a little bit weird to see the 2023 cars now that we know how the 2024 ones will look like. So yeah, I just wanted to point that one out, and it's a cool thing to say, I think. Yeah,
this is our final chance to enjoy some actual paint on the cars. I mean, there's not a whole lot of it, but yeah, it's going to be more than we'll see soon. And hey, there we go. Binpo goes quickest of everyone with a 1:26.4, so there you go, he's finally got a time in. Elias has actually just been disconnected from the session again. doesn't look like he's got the retirement glitch, so he should still be able to get back out on the track once he rejoins. But certainly things are not going very smoothly so far for the driver who's looking to secure his 4th title today. So yeah, it's going to have a bit of a mountain to climb in this qualifying session, as Yokata now does cross the line and goes 8th quickest, so a little improvement from him. But yeah, I mean, just look at the gap from 3rd up to 2nd and 1st. It is yeah, a whole different field, and that's exactly what we saw this time last week in Belgium.
Yeah, and also speaking of which, if I remember correctly, Codemaster fixed one thing that Suzuka had in the previous games, and so it's not so prevalent. But if you play like all the games, like I think Formula 1 2020, 2019 maybe still had it, the last corner of Suzuka used to have a bump, which was quite notable because it would, you know, make you not go very, very on the right side of the track when you have to. So thankfully, I think it's fixed in this game, but still a hard track, and people are starting to get into the rhythm. Loris, as you can see, P4. Also, I like trains. I'd like to point out one of the 3 drivers who managed to get into the 26.
Yeah,
and very competitive lap time, I have to say.
Yeah, very strong lap time from the AlphaTauri driver. We're used to seeing him a little bit more around the midfield, but after last week's race, got himself a P4 finish, and seems to be continuing that pace over here, as we have Loris now on his perhaps final lap in qualifying. I think he'll probably do another one after this, but making his way through Spoon Curve now, gets the power down nice and smoothly. No sign of losing the back end, which is what you'd expect from drivers of this calibre. And heading up towards 130R now. Not too much of a corner anymore, but still a fun little challenge to get through, especially if you try and go side by side there, which we'll hopefully get to have a look at later on in the race. Loris making his way into the chicane now at the Casio triangle, nails the line beautifully, keeping it tight to the inside around turn 18, and across the line it will be P3, so we have 4 drivers now into the 26s.
So I expect a battle between Bimpo, Tamer, and maybe Lamau, yes, if he can actually manage to do a flying lap, which is kind of becoming difficult considering that the time is ticking out. But at the same time, I expect a nice little battle for the podium position, or even just P3 or P4 between Loris and I Like Trains, which seems very, very closely matched. And I want to rule out during the race maybe Hashima too, because, you know, in P5, he decided not to do any more qualifying laps, but I expect to see the pace to be able to fight at least for the podium in this race, so that's going to be quite interesting in my opinion. And well, as I say that, we see a Mercedes getting a little bit of a surprise on everyone else.
Yeah, Kabaito, one of the full-time Tier 2 drivers, making his first appearance in Tier 1 today, and goes 4th quickest already, so showing his pace as Elias now back into the session, and also into the session. Yusuf Amir, I believe that is Sola, if I'm not mistaken, just with a different name this time around, so I will be calling him Sol for this one, for the intents of making sure people know who it actually is. But yeah, he's also here, so we now have a full 20-car field, which is going to make for a very interesting race here. There's going to be no shortage of action throughout the field, and yeah, it's just a case of whether people will keep it clean, and somebody who's not really kept it clean is Tamer, who is actually, he was on a flying lap there in qualifying. I saw him getting ready to start his lap, so yeah, Tamer, the guy who's looking to try and fend off the title today and keep the battle rolling on to next week in Abu Dhabi, not going perfectly smoothly for him either.
Well, I mean, I hope it wasn't the flying lap that one. It was maybe the, how did it say, like the the warm-up laps. Right?
No, he was definitely on a flying lap. I saw him at the end of his cool-down lap, heading towards actually this part of the track last time. So yeah, he'll have to. Excuse me, he'll have to, yeah, either go again now, or most likely, he might have to dart back into the pits for a quick tyre change if he's got any left, or at least just to top up on the fuel. Let's see. Heading towards pit entry, and yes, he's going to come in. So yeah, it's going to be a little bit tight here. We've got almost the entire field in the pits now, so yeah, we're really building up to a strong end to the session here. Bablo invalidated his lap as well, currently down in P17, so he's potentially going to be back in the pits. Timblish is now retired from the session, so he's not going to be improving any further, perhaps trying to save a set of tyres, and yeah, we're about to get very hectic into these final stages of qualifying with 3 minutes to go.
And before everything gets hectic, I would like to ask, how's the weather like during this weekend? Because I haven't checked, and I don't know if it's going to be rainy or if it's going to be sunny today.
We have full dry conditions, sunny skies, so yeah, that's not going to be a factor that's going to play into it like it did this time last week. So yeah, nice, well, I was going to say straightforward. It's never really straightforward around here, but yeah, as straightforward as it gets for the drivers today.
Yeah, I mean, I still expect a lot of chaos, mainly because Suzuka is a place where it's very, very hard to overtake. Like, you have just one DRS zone, which goes towards turn 1, which is probably gonna be one of the main overtaking places. We're gonna see people try and do something. But the other place we're probably gonna see people try and go crazy is surely the chicane before the main straight, which is the Cassius Triangle, it's called? How is it called exactly?
The Casio Triangle, I believe.
Cassio Triangle, yeah. And the main reason is because you come there at maximum speed after you've managed to go around Spoon, then the whole 130R corner, and then of course the big braking zone of the Cassio Triangle. So that's gonna be one place where we'll have to keep our eyes peeled, especially during the last lap, because I expect people to try something quite crazy there. Also, Lamar, yes, on an out lap, I would like to point out.
Yeah, he's indeed going to be able to set a lap in this session as Blundy. Just, yeah, he's going to be the first one to start his final flying lap here with minute and 53 left to go. Actually, he was just finishing a lap, so never mind. Yeah, there you go. Blundy's just finished his lap, so it seems like he's definitely not going to go for another one now.
No,
Gets a massive overcorrection. Yeah, so Blundy's going to be
finish that one.
Blundy's going to be starting 14th at best then, not ideal for him on his return after having quite a bit of a hiatus from LRC, so yeah, we'll see what he can do as Leland is about to finish his lap as well. He goes, well, he improves, but still stays 16th, so not looking too great for Leland at the moment, and yeah, with a minute and 20 seconds left, that is him going to be done in this session, so unfortunate for Leland, he's going to be starting 16th at best, but we still have plenty of cars left to go. As you can see, Blundy just stopped there on the track. Lily now retires as well. So she's going to be starting from 18th at best, and that's probably going to be on the back row of the grid somewhere, considering Sol and Elias both yet to set laps. So here we go. We have Yokata on a lap here. He'll be the next one to cross the line, if I'm not mistaken. But what I'm going to do is switch further down the order, if I can, there we go, to Elias, who is on his one and only lap in qualifying to try and get himself in the best position possible to try and get himself in position to take his 4th world title, but he was over the curb a little bit there on the exit of Degna 2. It's not the ideal line, seems slide in the back end, might have actually helped him get the car rotated a bit there, but still, not a perfect lap so far by the looks of things for the Bahraini driver, but heading towards Spoon now. Plenty of time to find around this double apex left-hander. Chucks it in a little bit wide of the apex though, onto the curb, and wide again through the second one, so it's not a perfect lap here whatsoever for Elias. Heading out of heading towards turn 15, 130R now. It's basically 3 corners left to go here, because this one, flat out all the way through, he'll get a distant tow from one of the cars up ahead. Keeps it well off the curb, and now heavy on the brakes, into the Casio Triangle, take as much curb as you dare. He's a little bit conservative, but here we go. Elias to the line, what can he do on his one and only lap in qualifying? Only P6.
Still in the 26.9, so still a very good lap time in my opinion. But this shows, of course, how the top 6 is actually very, very competitive. So we expect one competitive fight for the top 6, and it's going to be an endurance race to see who's going to be able to survive the whole race, which I think it's going to be like 31 laps, something around that. So we'll find out.
Yeah, something around that mark. Phil going off the track there, so I think quite a few people might have messed up their final laps here. I think that's Afari up ahead of him. He is making his way through the final 3 corners now, and let's see what he can do. He should be a little bit further up the order than this, you feel. Over the line he goes, and he does improve, but it's only to P7, so yeah, he's going to be starting alongside his fellow countrymen on the, well, they're on 2 different rows of the grid, but yeah, those 2 will be 6th and 7th, and we have the final laps of qualifying coming in now. Kateshi goes 8th quickest with a pretty solid lap time of a 127.2. He's another one of the many reserves today. Yokata's backed off, his teammate Slinks is also backed off, and that means with I Like Trains having made a mistake earlier in his lap, we are done for qualifying here.
So I just saw Bimpo getting disqualified for, well, I don't know exactly what reason, but I gotta ask, does this actually influence the final grid, or is he actually in pole position? That's the main thing I wanted to ask.
That's a great question, I've got to say. We may have to restart the lobby in that case, because Bimpo, I mean, as you were saying, he should be on pole position, but I mean, it's the Bimpo curse by the looks of things, because he was disqualified from the lead in Silverstone, been disqualified from P1 here, but I suspect this might mean we have to, we may have to restart the lobby after this one to try and correct the order, but either way, that means Tamara is provisionally in pole position. Don't know which of those 2 it's actually going to be, we'll have to wait and see what the decision is, but then it'll be behind them, Loris from Kabaito doing really well in the Mercedes, reserving today. And, well, we'll take a look at the rest of the grid in a second, but yeah, it's a bit of a strange scenario here.
Yep, so let's find out how the grid should be. The game tells us that Tamer is in pole position, but let me tell you guys, this is probably not completely true, so we expect Bimpo to be in pole position, followed by Tamer in the Williams Racing, then Loris and Ixdal in P3 and P4. Then of course Highlight Prince, then the championship fighter Lamau Yes in the Ferrari, right behind in P6, then Afari, Hashima, Kateshi, Gidigilgov, I actually don't know how to pronounce that, so my bad. Then of course Phil, Slinks, Tim Blesh in 12th place, then Yuri Yusuf.
Yes, yeah, Yusuf Sol, call him whatever you prefer.
Trimmershev, Blendy, Bablo, Back on Boys, Lalen, Lear, and Bimpo, which is in pole position, does it actually round up the grid.
Yeah, it's a bit of a strange scenario. We're going to head to a break now, and we'll come back with whatever the verdict is in a few seconds, or in perhaps a few minutes if we do have to restart. So yeah, don't go anywhere. We'll see you soon. Alright, welcome back everybody. Let me turn that off. There we go. Apologies for technical difficulties there. But yeah, there we go. We're back, and we are getting ready to not restart. We are going to be going with this order. The decision has been made by Loris that we will not be restarting the session. Bimpo will be starting from last on the grid. So, it's already chaos is starting to set in here, but let's see how this race is about to look. What is the strategy going to be like? And as always, we have a three-way split, a big old mix, and yeah. Well, Nax, you want to take us through it?
Well, before talking about the strategy, we'll just assume that Bimpo had you know what happened to Hamilton in Brazil, like in 2021, where the touched his rear wing and then he had to start. Yeah, I think that's really what happened to Bimpo. We'll just assume that.
I did hear that he was beached on a curb, so if you want the real reason, you can use that. If you don't, then he touched the rear wing.
Yeah, I mean, probably. So anyway, we can see different kind of strategies, but surely soon enough the game will tell us its strategies, which of course are not to be trusted. So what we can actually assume is that people will either try the classic one-stop, so to soft to hard, or just go for the classic medium to soft, or soft to medium actually, which I don't know if it's gonna be possible, because as far as I know, Suzuka is a very high tire wear circuit, not like Qatar, because Qatar was very extreme, but still high enough to cause some little bit of chaos and problems with tire wear. So people who went for the soft tires, I think will go very, very fast on the beginning of the race, so we expect Loris, Ixdal, and, well, surely not to line up on the grid, because they actually got disqualified by the for the formation lap, but I expect them to try and get into the lead at the beginning of the race, if Tamer actually allows them to do so, or if he wants to defend them. But during the middle pace of the race, I expect Tamer and everyone who went into the mediums to actually start to, you know, get into the rhythm and maybe decide if they actually have to go. Once again, it's more of a question if people want to go aggressive, safe, or want to go as long as possible. I am always one of those people who actually think that the right call is to go safe and go with the mediums, but you never know. Formula 1 is fun because we have people deciding various kind of strategies, and in the end we just find out which one was the right one just once the checkered flag falls. So another thing I want to point out, of course, is Lamau Yes on soft tires, who is gonna be very, very aggressive on the start and probably will be try to fight to get into the elite, or at least against Tamer in the first phase of the race. So this beginning of the race will be kinda crazy. We know how Suzuka is, so I expect to see yellow flags already in turn 1, lap 1. And, well, up to you for the race start, I think.
Yeah, and a little bit of extra insight just before we start. I Like Trains did not want to be on the hard tyres, so he might not be fully prepared for this, but here we go. We've got Bimpo lining up at the back of the grid, not the front of the grid, and that means we are getting ready to start what could be the title-deciding race. Remember, Lamau Yes start in P5, he needs 12 points over Tamer to take the title here today. So, let's go on board from the start of the field, and here we go. We've got 3, 4, and 5 red lights. And the Japanese Grand Prix is going. Tier 1 of LRC. Who's going to be quick off the line? It seems like a good start from Tama, and he's going to hold the lead, and we've got a terrible camera angle, so we'll stay fixed on Tama and try and switch down the field to see what's going on. Is everyone going to make it through the first few corners cleanly? It seems like they are. There's a little bit of contact. I think I might have seen some debris coming off, but everyone's made it through so far. Heading into the S's now. This is where things can get scrappy, and off the track goes Kateshi there in the Mercedes. He's able to rejoin though, but everyone getting checked up behind him as they head towards the Dunlop curve now. We've got 2x2 through the midfield. There's so many cars here trying to make their way through, obviously, but they've done so cleanly.
Yep, also Bimbo, I have to point out, up to P17 right now, also people still fighting their way through, even through Dagner 1 and 2, which is not exactly where you would like to fight, but it's lap 1 and everything is fair in lap 1, and now they're still fighting here in the last few places, and Lamar Yes also up to P3, so his charge has already started, and I don't think it's gonna stop quite soon.
Yeah, he's on those soft tyres, as we pointed out, and he's already all over the back of Loris, having a look into Spoon Curve there, and he actually spooks Loris off the track. Gonna try and get a look up the inside here, but Loris still just about manages to gather it up on the exit, but here we go. First taste of the straight line speed of that Ferrari, heads to the outside, and he is looking mighty quick as always, so Elias here, round the outside he'll go of 130 yards. There's a little bit of contact between the two of them. Onto the grass goes Elias, and he's going to have to back out of that one, so it looked like the move was going to be set in stone, but yeah, 130 are already starting to pose some challenges here today.
Well, hard racing of course, but at the same time you should have expected that, because Lamar, yes, all he had to do was to wait of course for the braking zone. Also, we got a crash behind. I think it's Bimpo in the crash, I think.
We've got multiple cars involved. We've got about 3 or 4 cars. Bablo's been disqualified from the session because Codemasters just haven't had enough fun today, apparently. So, yeah, I think we had a 3 or 4 car accident there. Bablo out of the race for some unbeknownst reason. He was literally driving in the right direction as well. I have no idea what's just gone on. But, yeah, you were right to point out Bimpo was involved in that. So his charge up the field that was happening has already been curtailed a little bit here. As now, I think Slinks just went around the outside of Kateshi through the Dunlop curve. That would be an almighty move. It's a shame we didn't get to see the whole thing of that, but yeah, gets himself up into P9. Both of them reserving today, of course, but yeah, here we go. Looking back up the order, Elias still, a lap later, not been able to get past Loris yet.
Yeah, either he waits for the DRS to get activated, even though it's not really too effective on this track, or he waits for one of the main braking zones to try and overtake. 130R overtaking is possible, also I think that's a track warning for Loris right there. But that being said, I think, although it's possible to overtake in 130R, I think it's better to wait a little bit. Although I don't think he can hear me, because it's gonna go right around the inside in 130R and maybe completely overtake. Yes, he can.
And can Loris fight it back into the chicane? He's not close enough. I don't think Loris wants to fight it too much, to be honest, because, well, Elias is completely losing the back end, so he might have to fight it now. But, yeah, Loris didn't defend the inside into 130R this time, but now he's sat in the toe, heading towards turn 1. He's using ERS, so he does want to fight it. Up the inside, Loris is going to go. It's going to be very close into the first corner, taking a boatload of curb. There's contact between the two of them. This is not what Elias needs. He just needs to get past this Alfa Romeo, but Loris is not giving it up easily. Wheel to wheel through the S's they go, but Elias just about emerges ahead, heading through turn 6 now, and he will finally be up into P2 and trying to run away through this middle sector so he doesn't have to fight Loris anymore. But that was great racing.
Yep, great and hard racing. Also, props to Loris for actually fighting that one out, because, you know, there are some times where you actually see the bloody championship leader and you think, yeah, I shouldn't get involved in that, but he decided, nope, that's a big white from the Mercedes. But as I was saying, he thought, no, that's my position and I have to fight it, and I think he's gonna still keep fighting, because I can see still 1/10 behind him, and I don't think he's gonna be keeping his, let's say, nerves to try and avoid overtaking Elias. Also, I think that's another track warning, maybe for Elias. I'm not sure if the game is warning them for that one or not, but this is gonna get quite spicy, and I'm actually quite surprised to see Loris going this fast this early on in the race.
Yeah, I mean, both of them on the soft tyres, so there's no reason not to fight it. Look into the inside towards the Casio triangle, but yeah, gonna think better of it. He's just gonna sit in behind and use what he will now have, the DRS, but this time Elias gets a much better exit out of turn 17, so it's gonna be a much trickier task this time around for Loris. He's already low on battery, but with the DRS open, he's gonna be right there, and he's gonna be on the inside again. Elias can't cover it off, so it'll be deja vu from last lap, up the inside, banging tyres at the second apex at turn 2, and it's the same thing all over again. Elias with the inside line is going to be able to fend off the position into turn 3 and stays in P2, but all the while dropping time to Tama, who is now 2.5 seconds up the road.
And love this. Keep an eye on the Mercedes, which is, right behind them.
Oh,
and
Loris
managed
makes
to
a
catch
mistake.
them. Oh, big wide from Loris. So the Mercedes, as I was saying, now into P2. And also, I think we got a little bit of crash. Yes, I think it's the Alpine of Team Blash. Yep, Team Blash.
Yep.
Out in Sector 1. And I think he's got a little bit of damage on the front wing, although I'm not so sure. And another thing I want to point out, keep an eye on Hashima, because Hashima is on our tires, and although the fight right now is, well, between actually everyone, but mainly the people in the top 5, Hashima will actually get an advantage later on during this thing, so I'd like to keep an eye on the other Ferrari as well.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a lot going on here. There's a lot to keep on top of. We had Loris now just got back past XDLL. You've also seen, I think that was Trimashev and Slinks fighting, or it might have been I Like Trains. No, it would have been Slinks. So yeah, there's plenty of battles going on. Getting very close with Hashim there. You were just pointing out he's got some great pace on the hard tyres. He's going to look to the inside into the Casio triangle, side by side. Somehow they avoid a massive accident, but he's wheel to wheel with the Mercedes of XDLL heading through turn 18. It's a brilliant fight between them. It just about worked, did that move from Hashim, but he's going to have to settle back in behind now, not being able to execute it. Into turn 1, he's going to have a look, but thinks better of it. And yeah, we have a brilliant race on our hands here, and also Binpo retired from the session already. I think he'd sustained some damage, had to make a pit stop, and decided it just wasn't worth it, so he's going to drop to 19th and be out of the contention now. So one of the fastest drivers, our pole sitter in qualifying, is going to be out of the race already.
Mate, I don't know you, but the whole fight from P2 to P, actually 6 as well, because Hafari is there as well. I don't know about you, but I feel something brewing, and it's not an overtake. I think it's going to be a crash somewhere sometime soon. So we'll keep an eye on this group, but I don't expect something good to come out at the end of the 27th lap between these guys, because they are getting very aggressive, and you know how it ends when people get aggressive in this game.
And Hashim already looking to go for the move towards Spoon Curve here. He's getting very close with Kabaito there, getting to very close quarters. I don't think the Mercedes driver's going to be a big fan of him after this race, and actually Afari now giving him a tap up the rear just to give him the hurry up, because he ended up costing himself time there. Meanwhile, in the background, you might be able to see on the minimap, we've got another giant train, and we've got contact in this train already, as the two Haas cars were side by side for a second. Losing the back end was Kateshi once again. Another mistake for him in this race, and Bacon Boys is going to sail by now, but we're going to have to look back up the order, because, well, we're back onto the main straight. DRS is going to be open once again, and let's see what moves are going to happen this time around in this very, very eventful race so far. I think we're going to start to have a DRS train forming here, though, so I think I Like Trains might be the closest to a move, but not able to make it just yet. Meanwhile, Phil has broken free of this train, but the Hasses are still side by side into turn 1, and Yokata gets up the inside of Slinks, who is now, I believe, back in the lobby after disconnecting for a second. And yeah, the two teammates, both reserves, one full-time, one reserve today, and yeah, the full-time driver of Yokata now gets ahead as Bacon Boys stays ahead of Kateshi to hold on to P13.
So, fighting all around, of course, many groups, many fights. And if you think about it, we got a lot of people fighting for potentially P2. I don't know about P1 because I think Tamer managed to get a little bit of a good gap between him and the soft runners, which of course is a good thing considering that mediums will get eventually faster than the soft. But at the same time, you actually have to, one wise man once said, you have to finish the race first to get first. So, he's there, but he should not actually get too relaxed, because these guys will actually try and push as hard as possible, as the Mercedes just showed us at the exit of Spoon. And as the Ferrari and Afari are fighting right behind, we're gonna see in 130R who's gonna be ahead, and the answer is Afari with his McLaren.
But pushing him all the way through was Hashim. Does not want to give this one up easily. He's predictably feisty as ever today, so yeah, given a good fight, but on the hard tyres, just not able to have the advantage he needs at the moment. But with every lap that goes by, you would think he's going to get quicker compared to the cars around him. So yeah, like you said earlier on, keep an eye out for him towards the end of the race. If he can stay within this DRS train, then he will be putting himself in a very good position come the end when he's on a set of fresh soft tyres. So yeah, plenty of interesting things to watch, and one of those things is further down the order. That was Kateshi and Bacon Boys swapping places. This time the Mercedes gets back past the McLaren, but obviously Kateshi with a penalty already. So yeah, there's lots of battles going on today, which is exactly what we predicted with the full 20-car field. Unfortunately, still only 18 running at this point. Also, I heard Bablo was actually just disqualified for causing the collision. So, yeah, he says that he went too late on the brakes, and apparently that was enough for the game to disqualify him, which is not something you see every day, and perhaps was a little bit too harsh. So yeah, unfortunate circumstances for him, and Codemasters just at their best as always.
Anyway, approaching end of lap 7, or maybe lap 10 actually, we should start to expect people on the soft tires to start pitting. Lap 7, I think it's a little bit too early, but we should keep an eye on them. I was wondering because I just saw Team Blash go into the pit lane and not to retire, but just to go onto the hard tires, so I started to wonder if people are actually starting to think maybe about an alternative strategy and a very, very long undercut right now. So as they go through the last few corners and there's a little bit of a battle, we should actually start and see if someone is getting a little bit of an intrusive stuff and getting into the pit lane. Let's see. And nope. I think everyone is not gonna do that, so they are quite smart, you know.
Nothing just yet. Slinks picks up another time penalty. Loris is a bit closer this time, but he just doesn't have the straight line speed he needs. And yeah, speaking of not having the pace that they need, Elias just does not have anything close to Tamer's pace. He's 5 seconds behind the Williams driver already, so Tamer, once again, just like this time last week, seems to have the legs on that Ferrari driver and might just be able to keep the fight rolling on for yet another race. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see on that front. There's still plenty of time left to go. There's still, 19 laps left in this one, and plenty of threat of safety cars. And speaking of which, side by side into turn 3 go Lilla and Sol, but yeah, Sol is able to get past the Red Bull driver, and now there's another penalty for Bacon Boys as now Lily crashes off the track and into the barriers, seems to pick up some wing damage as well. Kateshi's crashed now as well, out at turn 10, I think that is, out of Degna 2. So we have accidents everywhere, and yeah, no, out of Degna 1 even, out of the race on the inside barrier, and is that going to be a safety car? Yes, it is. So the second we talk about it, commentator's curse, it's straight out.
Yeah, you know, mate, I was thinking throughout the whole thing, like, I was, like, gonna say, I'm gonna go tell the commentator curse, but I was waiting, like, for you to finish commentating, and I was gonna say, yeah, he got a 6 seconds advantage, and it's gonna grow, except if there's a safety car, and guess what, guys?
Right
just
on
the top
cue.
of it, and there we are. So I expect people to go onto the hard tires, so people like, of course, Tamer, Lamo, Yes, and everyone else are on good places, but people like... Oh, actually, Tamer got a penalty for spitting into pit lane. So,
he did, yeah.
That's going to be difficult.
That is interesting.
Oh, yes, actually stayed out.
Oh, he did. On the soft tyres, he's stayed out. And he's disconnected from the session. Well, that's why he's stayed out.
Oh, no.
That is the worst time disconnection he could possibly have. Is to say, I'm going to avoid the safety car? Yeah, okay. Just wanted to make sure of that. But everybody else, apart from Phil, who is on the hard tyres, which makes sense, and Yokata, a little bit less sense on the mediums, but still, at least it's not the soft. Those two decide to stay out, but everybody else into the pits, understandably so, and onto a set of hard tyres till the end of the race. But Elias disconnects from the session right at the time where he needs to pit, and he is now going to be on what is clearly a suboptimal strategy to the end of this race. And well, just like this time last week, his hopes of securing his 4th title today might just be slipping away already.
Well, it's quite interesting because we got Lamo Yes, which has been struck by a lot of misfortune, and this one is probably the biggest of them all. At the same time, we got Tamer, who's got that 5-second time penalty for the pit stop, which, I mean, I expect him to be able to build up that gap once again, but at the same time, you know, it's a bit of a big worry if you're driving, because 5 seconds are no joke, especially in a field this competitive. So we still have to see. I think maybe Lamo, yes, has a little bit of pace, or what it takes to get back at least into contention for some points. But at the same time, I don't know if it's going to be possible to actually match Tamer here. We're going to have to wait and see. It's going to be 2 different fights for 2 different people, but for the same exact goal, which is, of course, fighting for the championship.
Yeah, there's obviously Tamer not able to win it today. All he can do is just try and keep it rolling for as long as possible, and yeah, seems like he's in a good position to do that so far, because, I mean, he doesn't really need to do a whole lot. Elias is the one that has to put in the work to try and outscore him by enough points. So, yeah, as things stand, the championship, well, not as things stand, obviously, because Elias is currently in the lead, but once Elias makes his pit stop that he's going to have to make, and now he is able to make the stop, so he's still going to get to do it under safety car, but he's going to drop right down the order. I think perhaps down to P16 here, or around those positions. Somewhere around P15 is where he's going to come out. We'll wait and see how bad the damage is exactly. It's going to be close with the 2 Alpines as he makes his way out. Gets a nice clean stop there, and yeah, let's see. We've got Leland, looks like he's going to get past. Yes, he will, so Let's see, is Timblish going to get past as well? It's going to be close between those two guys, but I think, yes, Timblish is going to get past as well. So P15 for Elias, he has a hell of a lot of work to do, but the 5-second time penalty for Tamer is going to make things just that little bit easier for him. And yeah, unfortunately, Phil, currently in the lead of the race, is great for him, but what is not great for him is that he, being on those hard tyres, is still going to have to make another pit stop. So, yeah, it's not ideal for him. However, if there is a safety car, then he might find himself in a very strong position come the end of the race. So, plenty can still happen, and I'm sure it probably will.
I mean, the only thing Elias can hope right now is that someone takes out Tamer at the beginning of the safety car restart, but that's one big if, of course, and I don't expect that to happen. So it's gonna be a tough fight for him. A slightly easier fight for Tamer, of course, because having to deal with the 5 seconds penalty compared to, you know, fighting throughout the whole field is gonna be a little bit easier, but at the same time, it's not gonna be as relaxing as it was a few laps ago. So everything changed in the matter of a few seconds. So we're gonna have to find out who and how this is gonna play out very, very soon. I expect the safety car to come in at the end of this lap, and I expect the race to go green probably on lap 11 out of 27.
Yeah, and if it does so, then I'll put in a few last words quickly, as Sol and Llewellyn actually switched places for a second there, but I think they're back in the correct order, I will assume. But yeah, Sol, Hashim, and I Like Trains, all on medium tyres, so 2 of those are Ferrari drivers, which is making sense. Sol obviously is a Tier 2 Ferrari driver, so makes sense that he would be on the same strategy as Hashim, but I Like Trains on mediums, and also, interestingly, Elias on hards, so a little bit of a split of strategies, but with the safety car is going to be in this lap, so it's going to be up to Phil on hard tyres to see how well he can get them up to temperature, and to decide when we go back green. So, Aston Martin safety car back into the pits, Aston Martin puts the power down and leads us away, back to green flag racing, but it's not the best start, and we've got chaos going on already. Well. 4 wide
That's
here, heading towards turn 1. Surely people are going to have to back out. It becomes 2 wide now. We've got side by side between I Like Trains and XDLL for P4, then it's Hashim and Trimmershe for P6. Somehow, everyone keeps it clean, so great job by all of the drivers to make it through so far, but there's still plenty of time left to go for a mistake to happen, and we've got side by side 3 wide through the S's. Unbelievable stuff here. Hashim wasting no time on those medium tyres, gets up to P4. Elias now finally back in the session, so it wasn't even his choice to go onto hard tyres. And yeah, here we go. Hashim making moves already, and straight onto the back of Phil, who's already dropped to 3rd.
And I think it's going to be 4th quite soon enough, because on the hairpin, round the outside, is he going to be able to complete the maneuver? A little bit of contact, but I think it's going to be able, with the traction out of the corner, to be able to run away from Phil. So Phil is, I think, kind of regretting his choice to stay out with the 10 laps old hot tires, but it is his choice.
Look at that, up the inside from I Like Trains, barging his way through, makes a double overtake there. Sorry, I had to cut you off, but we've just look at the swarm of cars coming out of Spoon Curve here, heading up the straight towards 130R. We've got moves all over the place. It's impossible to keep on top of because it changes every 3 corners, but I Like Trains now up into P4, and Phil still holding on at P5. There's contact now, though, into the braking zone, getting sent way deep as a Ferrari. Round goes one of the Red Bulls, and pandemonium has ensued here. We've got half the cars cutting the chicane. Somebody's coming into the pits. That's Kabaito with damage from causing the incident, but things have really kicked off here, unfortunately. But still, we're racing under green flag conditions as it stands, and heading towards turn 1. The chaos not yet over somehow, and it seems like everyone this time is going to be able to keep things just that little bit cleaner, but that was inevitable, I have to say.
Well, it was inevitable, but I expect things to escalate even further, because Phil is still fighting with, of course, the drivers behind him, which are, of course, Beckham Boys, Blinde, and Yusuf Amir. So keep an eye on them, because I expect overtaking maneuver to keep happening here right now. And also here's Ilias, which is, of course, as we talked about quite a lot here in this race, fighting for the lead and also scrambling out of Wagner 2.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. Now what's going on? Safari getting, misjudging his braking zone a little bit there, taps into the back of Llewellyn as he tries to pull out to make the move. Meanwhile, Bacon Boys still not been able to get past Phil just yet. Phil's found a little bit of a gap because Blundy and Bacon Boys now fighting it out for P7 on the road. Elias, who is actually in the car now, just to confirm where we're at, he's still down in P13 and not made too much progress yet because of the giant swarm of cars ahead of him that are effectively blocking his path. So, yeah, there's plenty to keep on top of, and I think further up the order, back in P7, side by side into 130R go Phil Malone and Bacon Boys, but Phil just about holds the position, heading into the Casio triangle this time around. Is everything going to be a bit cleaner? Yes, it is, thankfully, and no contact this time, so onto the straight we go. DRS is going to be enabled this lap, but the drivers won't have it just yet, so Bacon Boys is going to have to do it on straight line speed and ERS alone. Up to the inside he'll go, heading to the first corner, and into the first corner they go, and into P6 goes the McLaren driver, finally gets past the Aston Martin, and yeah, Phil's race just starting to unravel like you hinted at, and Tim Bleish making a bit of a mistake there allows Elias up into P12.
You know, I'm starting to wonder what's the plan exactly for Phil Malone, because I don't know what's the benefit of staying out with 12 laps old tires here, especially considering how stuff is going on right around you. So yeah, I don't know what his plan here is like, and also a little bit of a contact with one of Yes and the Alpine. Let's see if he can actually do a maneuver on the hairpin. I think he can. Also, big other maneuvers in the hairpin, as you can see here between the AlphaTauri and the McLaren. Also, Lamar Yes managed to overtake the Alpine. So now into the fight between for the Malone train, I think we can call it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's, I mean, there's so much to keep on top of, but Elias gets the move done and gets himself up into P11 behind his co-Ferrari Mansell, who's currently running in P10, and I don't think is going to hold him up too much. Let's see if he gets out of the way here, or if he's going to fight it. No, he just stays right off to the right-hand side, gives Elias the inside line, and yeah, knows what's good for him, I suppose, and that is one more place for the Ferrari on his charge back up the field. But yeah, to come back round to your point about Phil, the reason he had to stay out is because clearly he didn't think he could make it to the end on medium tyres, and he wouldn't have been able to go on hards because he already started on them. So yeah, it was just a terribly timed safety car for him, unfortunately, and yeah, he's going to have a bit of a tricky time of recovering this race now, especially if there's not another one later on. So we'll see how he does, but he does like this track, so he should have some pretty good pace once those hards are finally starting to get back up to temperature, but it doesn't seem to be quite yet that they're in their operating window, because Afari now having a look all over the back of him through the S's, and Elias will be looking for a sniff of a chance just to try and make any move he can here. He knows that the order is incredibly tall for him today to try and get the title, especially from where he is now, with Tama still in the lead of the race, 1.5 second gap to Loris. But yeah, he's going to do his best, and currently that means still sitting on the back of that McLaren and just waiting for a chance to get the move and try and get further up the order.
And I think it's gonna have to wait not really long, because you know the pressure is starting to stack up for the Aston Martin, is starting to stack up for Afari as well, and I don't think Elias want to wait a little bit too much behind those guys. And
he goes for it.
Poon is throwing already something, but of course no space there, so it's gonna have to wait at least until 130R, and then of course the Cassius triangle. So let's see what he can actually do here.
And Afari is going to be the one making the move first, though. He's sick of being behind Phil. They almost make a bit of contact. Onto the grass goes the McLaren. Now they make contact. And spinning off goes Phil into the barrier. Afari just completely turned in on him there. He thought he had the right to the corner. Phil clearly disagreed, and that one is going straight to the steward's room. But Phil, he's very lucky to still be in the race, although for how much longer? Spins it now.
I'm not so sure, mate.
Yeah, trying to recover. And safety car is back out. So maybe, just maybe, he's still got a chance in this race. But yeah, that's not the way that he would have liked to see that safety car come out, and that is not what we like to see.
I mean, he wanted a pit stop where he could not lose time. Well, there it is. So now he somehow managed to save his race by crashing, so I think it's okay.
No, never mind, he's going to retire anyway. Yeah, he's...
save his race by going into the pit lane and watching it from there. So
exactly. Yeah, that's not what you like to see from Phil, I have to say. It was a bit of a sketchy move from Afari, but obviously hard to tell from the off-board, and like I say, we'll leave that one to the stewards, who will presumably be once again quite busy after this race. But yeah, safety car back out, and that is going to give well, I don't think that, I think Phil was the only driver who'd stayed out on the hard tyres, so yeah, that means it's going to be pretty even on strategies for everyone from here on out. But it's going to be very interesting to see what happens here, and see who decides to pit, who doesn't, because surely pretty much everyone's going to have to come into the pits, you'd imagine.
I mean, you could do that, or you could try and go to the end, because many of those people are on the hards, and technically they could go to the end with them, but at the same time I think we had a live example of what happens if you try to extend the hard tires too much against people with the softer and fresher tires. So let's keep an eye, especially on Tamer, and see if everyone just decides to change strategy, because I think from lap 17 on we can actually see people going onto the soft tires once again, but from now on people can go onto the mediums, and people decide to go onto the mediums, following probably Tamer example.
I was going to say, Tama will have to come in because he needs to serve that 5-second penalty, or at least I would imagine so, and that was indeed the case. So, yeah, it seems like everyone is going to follow suit then. Will anybody go rogue and stay out? Let's wait and see. Yes, the McLaren of Afari, the one who actually just caused the safety car effectively, he's going to stay out. He's on the hard tyres, so he'll be presumably going to the end here, but he's about to find himself in the same position that the man he just crashed with, Phil, found himself in about 10 laps ago. So, yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see how this one plays out. Lily also stays out. That one's a little bit less surprising. She was obviously right down towards the back of the field, so taking the opportunity to try and gain some track position and just have fun in the race, although that is going to create quite the roadblock for the drivers trying to come through the field. That's nothing against her skill, but obviously she's not quite up to the same pace as these guys, as we've seen so far. So, yeah, it's going to be a very interesting race, and all of a sudden Loris now, because of the penalty that Tama had to serve, will find himself in net P1 of the race.
And with all of this, the great McLaren master plan had ended, and now we got a McLaren in first place, although I don't expect him to stay there for much longer. And somehow now Loris technically could take the lead if he actually managed to, drive like a whack driver and get through traffic to get into P1, so overtake Liller and Afari, of course. And all of this, of course, Tamer, by serving his 5 seconds penalty, got a little bit behind in P6 and very close to Lamau, yes, which is now somehow in P11. I was expecting him to be P12, actually. I'm not sure what happened there, because I think I just saw a few places get swapped, but not sure about that one.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. He might have been jumped in the pit, well, he clearly has been jumped in the pits by Sol, so yeah, not ideal for him, but yeah, he's going to lose a bit of the progress there. That's not perfect. I think he's lost 2 or 3 spots from that one, but still, will once again have the field nice and bunched up for him, if that's even what he wants, considering how the last restart went. But yeah, it'll give him the prime opportunity to try and make up as many places as possible. And with Tama now down in P6 instead of up in the lead, and with potentially an incredibly chaotic restart ahead of us if last times was anything to go by, it might not be over just yet for the Ferrari driver. So there's still, like we say, with 11 laps left to go in this race, basically the whole race ahead of us, and everything yet to be decided. So it's going to be very interesting. We'll get one more lap of safety car for the Mercedes of Kabaito, who's still one of the quickest drivers in this race, just down right at the back of the field after the first incident. And yeah, he's going to make his way back into the field, hopefully at the end of the next lap, so that we can get ourselves started for what will be 9 laps of green flag racing. And then yeah, it's going to be a very entertaining race. There's now Lilla makes a little mistake there under safety car, doesn't lose any places though, so that's the main thing. But yeah, there's going to be a lot to keep on top of here. Everyone on medium tyres, apart from Yokata, who was the only one bold enough to go into a set of softs down in P13, so yeah, keep an eye on him, see how that works out. He was obviously on a podium, this time 2 weeks ago in Silverstone, so see if he can perhaps work some magic to finish there again. But, oh, well, never mind, the game doesn't want him to do that apparently. He drops 2 places from lag, and will now be starting 15th on the restart. Never mind, he'll be back in 13th, because we've got a nice Bulgarian connection there.
Wait, why is the safety car behind?
Hang on. Did I see that correctly?
I swear I saw the safety car.
There's no safety car. There is no safety car.
What?
Where's it gone? Okay. Safety car's back in the S's. Gonna have to be careful here, XDLL, not to crash into the thing. There it is, on the inside. So we're going to be doing an extra lap, I guess, behind the safety car. So I suppose, scratch my idea of having 9 laps. It's probably going to be 8 laps, because, well, we're going to have to drive around and presumably attach onto the back of the safety car. I've seen the glitch happen once before on F122, and it did indeed. It didn't ruin the race, we were still able to continue with it, so hopefully that's going to be the same again here. But yeah, Codemasters just making their presence known. It had been all of 3 laps since they made a mistake, so yeah, just want to keep us on our toes here today.
So yeah, a little bit more time to actually, I don't know, think about life, think about what's going on right now. And as you were pointing out, Jokata now on the soft tires, getting a little bit of a gamble, because he would like the race to be a little bit shorter, of course, to manage to go to the end with the soft tires. But at the same time, lap 17, actually 18 right now, is, well, late enough to get into soft tires. So I think it's the right call. But although extending the safety car allows him to save a lot of tire wear and then, be faster towards the end of the race, it's also worth noticing that, you should actually try and use those soft tires when you still have them. So having 2 laps going away like this, it's not really optimal, let's say.
Yeah, it's, I mean, he will at least have more laps under the safety car now to ease his tyres in and hopefully have for his sake as low as possible, but here we go, catching up to the safety car. What's going to happen this time? Are we going to get to stay behind it? Yes, we are. It's going to pull away, and we're back to the normal order, hopefully. So, yeah, hopefully that means then, now that the whole field has been resumed, it's going to be safety car in at the end of this lap. You can see XDLOL Kabaito has closed up to the back of the field. Everyone is in order, so, yeah, let's try this one again. We've got Afari and Lilith, the two hard tyre runners who are going to lead us away on the restart, and then everyone behind them, or almost everyone behind them on a set of fresh medium tyres, trying to come through the field, all at the same time, all fighting for the same track position. We've seen it go wrong once before, and let's see if everyone can keep things a little bit cleaner this time around, although perhaps I'm being a little bit optimistic.
Yeah, I'm expecting either it goes like the last restart, where people went like 5 wide towards turn 1 and somehow managed not to crash, or the most predictable thing is gonna happen in turn 1 once people get into side-by-side position towards one of the fastest corners of the track and also one of the heaviest braking zone of the track. So let's keep an eye. Let's keep our eye peeled. I expect, of course, a lot of chaos, a lot of carbon fiber flying all around the place, and our safety car decides finally to go into the pit lane. Let's hold our breath and get ready for the last few laps of this race here in Japan.
And I've just got to point out as well, before we get started, I Like Trains has managed to get ahead of Loris under safety car, so he's now going to be the lead medium tyre runner. Again, I'll leave that to the stewards if anything needs to happen after the race, because it's, impossible to give the call on, but here we go. Afari is now going to lead us away, and he gets the power down straight away out of turn 17. He's not going to wait around like Phil did, so let's see, he gets a good jump over Lilla, but Lilla also gets a good jump over Loris and I Like Trains. Those two go side by side, and I think actually that must have just been Trains letting Loris back through, so does the sensible thing, but he's going to be vulnerable now to Hashim, who's going to look up the inside but can't find a way through. He's going to be sensible as well, and it seems like we're going to keep things nice and clean on this restart as Sol lets Lamau Yes back through and up into P10. Meanwhile, Yokata, going side by side, I might have spoken a little bit too soon there, barges into the side of Leland and gets himself up into P13 as Leland drops 2 places, side by side up the order and getting forced out, so now the chaos has started once again because everybody's trying to get past the Red Bull now, heading towards Decna 1, side by side as Loris and Lily. It's not going to work, the two of them go spinning off the track, and there's the chaos that everyone has seen coming. Loris, from the what would have been the net lead of the race, goes crashing out the second he has to overtake the slower car, and that is pandemonium ensuing once again. No safety car though, so we're going to stay green flag race, and it's perfect for Afari. He's got a chance to run away with things now, and he will be going to the end obviously, so that's exactly what he needs. Slinks and I Like Trains think about going side by side, but having seen how things have gone so far, decide to think better of it.
And all this, I would like to point out that Tamer managed to have the best of everyone, and now is back up into P2, and of course it's going to be quite soon enough P1 if everything goes according to plan to him.
And now we've got side by side between Elias getting ahead of Sol once again for, I don't know, the 3rd time already, I think. And yeah, like you say, Tamit has done the perfect job on the restart, gets himself into 2nd place and is immediately going to be charging down after Afari. He knows that he's the quickest car on this track, and he is in prime position to get this race win here once again if he can get past the McLaren cleanly, which might just be a bit of a tall order here today, but I think given the outright pace advantage he's got on those medium tyres, he should be able to do so. Hopefully pretty cleanly once they get to a straighter section of the track. So let's see how his patience is. There's still 7 laps left to go in this one, so there's no rush to make that move. And yeah, the only rush for him would be Elias, but Elias down in P9, and never mind, he's made the move already. I spoke completely wrongly. Tamer tells me what to do. I know a mistake from Afari. He cuts the corner there. He does very well to keep it, but he's going to lose a couple of places here. And yeah, I don't know if there was contact between the two. I think it was just a mistake on his own from Afari, but he's now going to lose a lot of ground. His teammate's going to go through as well. Banking tyres between the two of them, perhaps getting a little bit frosty there, but Afari will stay ahead for the time being. Or will he? There's more contact heading through the curve towards Spoon Curve, but this time, yeah, no, it's Afari who stays ahead once again. So, yeah, things getting a little bit spicy between these two McLaren drivers.
Yep, of course, and also I don't think there was contact if I saw correctly during the stream, but of course we'll find out later on after the race. Now towards the 130 hour we can see actually Beckham Boys overtaking Afari down the inside, and everything goes quite well, I think. Now into the Cassius triangle, though the Williams try to overtake, but there's contact. There's contact, thankfully no death, except of course nothing much that more than the World Championship leader. And now with the rest open, we're gonna see the fight still resuming here between the Williams, the McLaren, the Ferrari, and also somehow the AlphaTauri, which is going to attack Lamau Yes into turn 1. Let's see if Jokata can actually try and do something. Actually, it's not Jokata, I got it wrong, my bad. And
Sorry.
yeah, we got still the battle going on into Sector 1. Let's see if Elias can actually make up ground and overtake, of course, Safari, which is one big obstacle between him and some more points today.
Yeah, it's everything got very heated for a second there. Blundy made a very aggressive defensive move on Afari and ended up in contact between perhaps all three of these guys. Elias had to take evasive action, but now he's trapped in behind the hard tyre runner through the first sector of Afari, so he's going to perhaps, presumably, go for a dive bomb to the inside here. Nope, Afari's going to defend it, so Elias says thank you very much, goes around the outside, but he's a little bit too deep on the brakes, and Afari's going to hold the position. So yeah, these two were title rivals earlier in the season, so perhaps Afari just feels that this is his chance to try and annoy the Ferrari driver a little bit, forces him right up to the outside, going to give him a big old squeeze into spoon and say no, you're not coming through just yet, really making him work for it here. So yeah, nobody is willing to move aside for the championship leader apart from Sol, who's playing as his rear gunner as things stand, despite being across two teams. But yeah, let's see, is he close enough into 130R? No, he is not, so Elias is going to have to wait for the DRS down the main straight, unless he fancies a dive bomb, which he does at the last moment. That was a bit brazen there from the Ferrari driver. It's perhaps a bit unnecessary as well, but a sign of the frustration. So yeah, clearly not in the perfect headspace right now as the championship leader, and trying to get the move done this time he will surely. Gets forced right up to the inside by Afari, but he's going to get through, is he? No, Afari's still fighting it round the outside, but now finally the Ferrari is through and up into P7, but those two, well, I'm sure those two are going to be exchanging some quite heated words after this one.
Well, this was surely one defensive drive from Afari, and now that he actually lost the position to Lamau, yes, he has to watch and see if he can actually defend from the AlphaTauri also. I think I saw two. Oh, sorry, one of was the Haas. I thought I saw two AlphaTauris, but it was actually the Haas as well. So my bad on that. But also there's a lot of battle going on. I was seeing Hashima getting closer to the DRS zone, but now he's losing time to Tamer, so I wouldn't think to see an overtake right there. We actually can see Slinks getting close to Hashima, so maybe he can actually get into P2 and maybe, who knows, maybe try and hand down the leader. We should not know just yet, but one thing we should know is Lamau Yes back behind Beckham boys with 0.1 seconds and should actually go for the maneuver quite soon. Right now though, towards 130R, very side-by-side action between the AlphaTauri and the Haas, very close, but they keep it on the tarmac, and now into the braking zone, the AlphaTauri of I Like Trains against the Haas of Slinks, but Slinks managed to defend quite well by braking late. But once again, side by side, both of them should have DRS towards the Ferrari of Hashima. Let's see one track race towards turn 1, but the AlphaTauri has it.
And that is a very nice little move there by I Like Trains, the full-time driver passing the reserve. Of course, both of them very quick drivers. Slinks can be a little bit mistake-prone at times, and now side-by-side into the first corner, and there's a mistake for you. Side-by-side has resulted in contact between Sola and Afari, and luckily for the both of them, they're both able to keep it running in roughly the right direction, but they're going to lose a handful of places in doing so, and Afari now is, his miserable day is clearly getting a bit worse. The decision to stay out was absolutely not the right call for him, as he drops down to P12 now and is going to be under pressure from Lelin in the Alpine in P13. But yeah, as I was saying, back up the order, I Like Trains has gotten himself past Slinks, which for him is quite an important move, because what he needs to do is try and get ahead of the Ferrari of Hashim, obviously. With Slinks being a reserve, he'd have gotten that P3 anyway, but he wants to get that Haas out of the way, which he's done, and he wants to try and get past the Ferrari now for what would be an on-track P2, as Lily now picks up a 10-second time penalty for corner cutting. That's seriously impressive, but either way, we'll ignore that. She's down at the back of the field, unfortunately, and now we have Trains onto the back of the Ferrari of Hashim, closing up to 130R, but he's very low on battery, so I don't think he's going to be able to go for a move just yet. Surely he's going to wait for the DRS, is he? No, he's going to look to the inside into the chicane. No, thinks better of it. He backs off and forces Hashim into a little mistake there. There's contact between the two of them now, as Trains was just that much quicker going through the chicane, but that's actually that's cost him a little bit on the exit. He's going to use the final few percent of battery that he's got left in the tank to try and close up to the Ferrari. Into turn 1 he goes. The DRS just not quite enough for him though, and he's not going to be able to make the move yet. Meanwhile, his teammate is going to make the move, and Elias gets himself up into P5.
So great recovery driver by the of course the championship leader. And one thing I would like to say is if I had 1 yen for every single time a driver who tried to extend his stint after the safety car got punted out of the race, we would have like 2 yen right now, which is of course kind of strange that it happened in the same race. But speaking of which, we saw Afari getting a little bit of penalty due to multiple warnings, but that's not, of course, the story of the race. We still got battles all around, and one of the battles we can see is, of course, this one for Pichu between Hashima, I like Trains and Slinks, which, although he has a penalty, is still in the fight, in my opinion.
Yeah, he's right on the back of Trains now. Trains just made a little mistake out of Degna 2, though, which is exactly what I said was likely to happen on the worn tyres and heavier fuel loads, but... yeah, gathers it up well and is going to stay in P13. Tim Blythe retires. He's in the pit lane, so yeah, that will be no safety car, so we're going to stay under green flags, which is good. Unfortunate for Tim Blythe, though, just not gone his way today. Plenty of contact for him, just like it has been for most of the field. And yeah, he's going to be retiring from this one. Meanwhile, heading towards the chicane once again, and blocking aggressively this time is Hashim. He wants to try and right the wrongs of what happened last lap, but it's getting even closer between the two of them. There's yet more contact, but again, Trains just a little bit too greedy on the throttle there, losing the back end again, and he's going to have to try and make the move, but he's not going to be able to because of the yellow flags. But no, yellow flags have gone. He's got the chance, but he's not got the straight line speed, and he's going to have to stay in behind in P3 for now. And meanwhile, looking further down the order, here comes 2 moves for the price of 1, I reckon, because Georgie is going to go round the outside. That's your Carter trying to get the move done on Bacon, boys. Contact between the two of them, and Trimmershave was trying to get past XD-Lol there, or it might have been the other way around, I'm not too sure. I think that was actually Kabaito getting the move done, and up into P9, so the battle's still continuing on.
I would like to point out that Hashima, I saw his rear light flashing during the main straight, so I have to expect that his car is also out of battery. So the battle between the AlphaTauri and the Ferrari is going to be quite close, in my opinion. And we'll have to see how this is all going to pan out, of course, towards the last few laps of this race. In all and all, also, I think Ashima right now is reminding me a little bit of the battle between Kimi Räikkönen and Fisichella back in 2005, which of course had like Fisichella defending a little bit too much into the last chicane and handing a good exit to Räikkönen, which ended up in him taking the lead. So I have to see and expect if something like this happens between these two, and maybe watch what's gonna happen once again towards the Cassius Triangle. So let's keep an eye on this battle right now.
So is he going to defend again? He's a lot further back as Trains this time, so this time Hashim does not feel the need to make any kind of cover and move, so he will hold the position for now. Trains a bit smoother on the exit, but again, because of the rest of the lap, he was a bit further back, and he's not going to be close enough once again to make the move, because both of them very low on battery. So yeah, the whole second, third and fourth all quite low on battery. Elias likewise, so clearly it's a very draining track, this one, and this time Yokata is able to get past the McLaren and up into P7 without any kind of hindrance or contact. So yeah, continues his charge up the order on the soft tyres, and I've got to say, on lap 26 out of 27, he is doing a fantastic job with this one to still be in contention and having some good pace as well.
Yeah, I feel like in all of all, the soft tyre strategy wasn't exactly the most optimal, but I feel like it could work, and as you can see, he managed to make it work quite well. So right now P7, just 1 lap to go, and I expect him either to finish in P7 or P8 if everything goes exceptionally wrong in these last few laps. But right now, we still have a lot of battles going on. This one is getting a little bit stale, but it's still interesting to look at. So Hashima versus Alike Trains versus Lynx. Then Lamoyes just 4.8 seconds behind, which I don't think is going to be able to gap in less than 1 lap. And of course, then behind him, the Williams of Blendy. Then the Haas, which we saw before, had the soft tires. And also I think the Haas, the AlphaTauri got a little bit closer to the Ferrari. So let's keep an eye on these two and see how this one goes. Lily goes defensive. But Allied Trains decide to go a little bit closer, and once again they touch. So every time they touch, they get this feeling, and they feel like they could fly down the inside, and
spins into the pit lane. Well, I mean, Slinks was...
Slinks flew a little bit too much, so Lamoyes promoted to P4 somehow, and now getting into the last lap of the race, we can see a lot of stuff going on.
It's prime Slinks moments, one of the most bizarre incidents I've ever seen. Luckily for him, this is just the Tier 1 race, so he is only reserving today, wasn't going to be picking up points anyway, but that is still a very strange way for his race to come to a conclusion, and yeah, he's going to drop down out of the fight for the podium. He wasn't in it with the 11 seconds anyway, but these two still very much fighting it out, and tell you what, Trains is at a good middle sector here. He might just fancy a dive bomb into the hairpin, but again, out of the slow corners, he just doesn't have the exit that he needs to close up to the Ferrari. So let's see, both of them very low on battery, so yeah, it's going to be basically even Stevens until straight line speed kicks in once they get onto the back straight, heading towards 130R. But yeah, it's going to be a very close end between these two. Meanwhile, Tamer, he doesn't even know what's gone on behind in this race. He's just been driving perfectly cleanly. He's dealt with the adversity of 2 safety cars, and he has driven a fantastic race. We're going to have to keep an eye on these two, though, because here we go. The battle for P2 is far from over just yet, as here comes Trains. He's close this time, but he's not got the straight line speed, even with battery being deployed. Both of them as low as you like on battery. Into the final corner. Can Trains dive it? He's going to have the luck, but he can't find a way through. There's contact, though, between the two of them. Trains has to cut the chicane, but all the while, Tamer is going to slow down and take what will be a brilliantly earned victory. Gets crashed into over the line by our second place finisher of Hashim. Then Trains will finish 3rd place, and Elias has to settle for P4. It's no title for him today. We'll have to wait for next week once again. Then Bacon Boys will take a 6th place finish because Sol, who had less penalties, takes P5. Lelon, out of nowhere, takes 6th place. I have no clue where that one's come from. Blundy will have to settle for P9 with Trimmershave in 8th. Then Yokata rounding out the top 10 from XDLL, who also pits on the final lap, and then Slinks spins across the line. Loris, P13 after the crash earlier on in Afari, doesn't even get to take the checkered flag. What a race that was.
Well, surely an interesting ending, full of surprises, but as we may know, Suzuka delivers all the time for cool races, so Lan gets the driver of the day vote, at least for the game. Then we'll, of course, have our own pool once the whole thing is ended, but let's keep an eye on the celebrations for the podium, and let's congratulate our winner for today, which is, of course, Tamer, which keeps the championships alive once again. Towards, I think it's the next one is the last one, is it?
It's the penultimate race next week.
The penultimate race. So
yeah,
yep, we still got a championship which is of course quite alive, with just 2 races to go, and well, I'm starting to think everything is kind of possible here in this championship, you know?
Yeah, who knows? He's kept it running 2 weeks in a row, has Tamer, with 2 victories in a row, and yeah, secures himself a very well-earned victory once again, just like this time last week, and yeah, fantastic drive. Clearly the quickest car on the track today, and takes a well-earned win from Hashim with a brilliant 2nd place, the first time he's able to beat his teammate this season, and yeah, I Like Trains will get himself also a very well-earned P3. Those two getting very feisty towards the end, but luckily there's nothing too bad for the stewards to look into. I think because they stayed in the same order, nobody's going to be too displeased with that one, so there you go. Then Elias, for what may be even the first time, I'm not sure, is not on the podium. He's, yeah, can't believe it. But yeah, he's going to be P4 for this race after a very, very tricky one for him. And yeah, that means the title, like we say, will roll on to Abu Dhabi. So keep your eyes peeled for that this time next week. Then it's going to be Sol in P5, which will be Lelon in P5 once the reserves have been disqualified. Sol being a reserve, of course. Then Bacon Boys 7th. Trimmershave 8th, Blundy 9th, Yokata P10, then XDL, Loris, Slinks, and Afari round out the finishers, and Lilla as well, who was a lap down, and then, yeah, Tim Bleish, Phil Malone, Kateshi, Bimpo, and Bablo all did not make it to the flag, so yeah, a very entertaining race today, a very chaotic one, as we predicted, but still, got to see some great wheel-to-wheel action, and yeah, we'll be back in a few minutes' time with the drivers' thoughts on this race and some of their onboards as well, and also the driver of the day poll, which will be in the chat. So, yeah, we'll see you in a few minutes after a short break. All right. Welcome back, everybody, and we're here with some breaking news. Breaking news from the F1 paddock. Most people wouldn't have seen this coming. Turns out, Lamau has actually won the driver's title. I have no idea how that's even possible, but he's apparently won the title by 1 point over Tamer. I mean, there's obviously still races to go, but he's got the minimum amount of points. And apparently he's now your Season 6 World Champion, so there you go. I guess we'll announce it properly in the next race and pretend that this one never happened. Either way, let's interview our World Champion then first, because, you know, he's a World Champion and all, although he is undeafened, so let's see if he's actually ready, and let's get him in. Elias, hello.
No, I wasn't ready. My thing wasn't on. Hello.
All right. Are you ready? Are you ready now?
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Well, so first things first, world champion? Question mark? Perhaps? Yes? No? Maybe?
Thoughts. Um, thoughts. First of all, yeah, I am champion. I think. I mean, no, I am champion because I have a 53 point gap to Tomer. Needed it to be 52. That's like with getting fastest laps and everything, 2 races
Uh-huh.
and me DNFing. So yes,
Um,
53 points gap. So it's perfect.
are the next few races sprints or are
No, no,
Nope.
no sprints.
right? That makes sense.
Yeah, it's over now.
Yeah. All right. So there you
Oh,
go. I've decided I'm just gonna next week. I'm just gonna pretend that you win the title next week, and so that you can still get your commentary line. I'm not just gonna hang you out to dry like that.
yeah, yeah. You messed it up, man.
Yeah, I'm so like this is what happens when you let me do math. It was a terrible idea. But yeah, so there you go. Your new world champion. We'll give you a second champions interview next week. But here's your first one. Yeah, how you feeling after that? And what are your reflections on? Well, firstly today's race, but then the season as a whole.
Yeah, champion and all that. Yeah, woo.
Been there, done that.
Today's race was very bad from my side, from the other driver's side as well. It's just a mess as well. I've done zero practice. That qualifying lap was my only lap. That was the first lap I've done since Friday last week. So yeah, I haven't touched Japan since September. So yeah, man. Uh, it was just a messy race and all that, and yeah, happy with the P4, I guess. Even though it could have been better. Alfari was holding me up on purpose, clearly, but yeah, it's
Yeah,
whatever now.
yeah. It was very scrappy at times, but we did still get to see some good battles here and there. But yeah, so I suppose is there anything that you should have that you would like to have done differently today, or do you think it was just mostly stuff out of your control?
It was probably out of my control, man. I mean, I could have been, I could have avoided a few incidents here and there, but like, I generally couldn't do much more. So I tried my best today. I was very limited to what I could do, but yeah, I mean, I guess this was the worst race of the season. P4 uh, worst result. I mean, which does say a lot about my season this year. So.
Yeah,
Yeah, we've had a very, very good season. Me and my teammate Hashim at Ferrari. Been very consistent. He's been improving race by race as well. And yeah, I mean, I'm happy to be his teammate. Um, and yeah, we're very proud of him. Clearly, he's learned a lot since his first race with us. And yeah, I want to congratulate him for the podium today. He did an amazing job.
yeah. I think well deserved. And also, I've got to ask, do you know how you guys are doing in the constructors? Because I know it was pretty
I
close
think we
today, but
wrapped it up.
yeah, I was going to say without having the standings, it was kind of impossible to know. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I'll complete the settings tonight or tomorrow or something, and we'll have that confirmed. But I know the drivers is confirmed.
all right. Well, there you go. Yeah, how you feel? Have you got any more thoughts on being the champion already, or is that it? Anything you want to say?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, fourth worst result says a lot about our season. I mean, we've been in the top three the entire time. Shame to miss out on that top three again today. But yeah, I mean, we'll take the P4, and I mean, it's over now, so it doesn't really matter too much. And I want to thank Aero as well. I don't think it would have been this easy, or as easy, without him. I mean, he's been a big help. Um, and yeah, nothing more to add really.
All right. Well, there you go. I'll ask as well. What's your what's your plan for the next two races now? With presumably both championships wrapped up. What's your You're just gonna go out there and try and have some good races, or qualify at the
Yeah,
back every
I'll
race or
try.
something?
No, I mean, maybe the final race. Who knows? But I think I'll still try to, maximize the results I can get for the rest of the season. Hopefully, I can actually practice.
Yeah.
Because yeah, I literally didn't do any laps since Friday last week. So
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, maybe I do last the first in um, Brazil. But yeah, we'll see.
All right. We'll see indeed. Max, you got any questions?
Yeah, so this was quite a strange end of the championships because we weren't really making too much maths in the commentary booth while
I mean,
watching the
it's
race.
kind of like when Max won his second one.
I mean, something similar. So I wanted
Yeah.
to ask if somehow the whole championship thing gets, nullified, but to decide the championship, we followed this thing. Like you and Tamer do a 1v1 where you both chose setups and starting tire and everything. But once the race starts, you both disconnect to watch the AI race at yours against each other instead of yourself. Would you do this thing to decide the championship, or would you still take the championship like you trained today?
Yeah, no, I'm not doing that, man. Knowing my luck, my AI is horrendous, bro. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
He would
Well,
definitely
work.
his AI would gap me by like 25 seconds per lap. It's just not worth it.
Of course, remember you get to choose the setup and the starting tire, so
No,
maybe
man. I
it can do
mean,
this.
no.
that reminds me as well. Did your was it your choice or the AI's choice to not pit when the safety car came out? Because I saw you disconnected around that time.
Yeah,
No, I
what do
think
you think?
if you didn't manage it,
What do you think it was my choice or the AI's choice?
I mean, I kind of assumed. The only reason I asked is because it showed up saying you'd disconnected, but like only when you got to turn one. So I thought maybe you'd chosen to stay out, but yeah, I assumed that it was not the case. So yeah, it's a bit of season 5 luck there for you.
Yeah, I mean, it had to kick in at some point. I mean, it happened in Bahrain, it'll happen here as well. But yeah, it was obviously the AI's choice. I mean, yeah, probably could have finished in the top three, maybe P2 at most, but I don't think I could have got P1 today. Tom was just too fast.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, stuff happens, and yeah, we move on. I'm very tired.
Fair enough. All right, we'll let you go then, and yeah, good luck for next week. We'll try and make up for what happened today.
Thank you.
All right, see you.
Thanks.
All right, there you go. There's your world champion apparently to be confirmed or not. Who knows at this point? Yeah, I don't know. Either way, we'll move on to the race winner, which is going to be Tamer. Let's get him in. Tamer, hello.
Oh my god, finally. Leah stopped yapping.
Yeah, he was. It went on for a little while. I suppose you can forgive him considering he's allegedly world champion now, but still, we'll wait and see once it's confirmed. But yeah, either way, I think you can be very proud of the drive that you put in, not just today but across the whole season as well. And you, considering the races that you missed, you gave him a very good fight, and again today, just a fantastic drive and very well deserved win. So how was it for you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna start off with the race. Race went pretty smoothly, and wasn't like the usual race where I had competition. It was pretty simple, actually, just managing tires, making sure everything's fine, no mistakes, and yeah, pace was just there. Kept pulling out time where other people could not find it, and yeah, about the championship. I mean, considering I've like I don't know missed 2 or 3 races, and I'm still only like 53 points behind. I mean, first of course, congratulations to Elias, and yeah, just shows the potential that I've had if I actually showed up to every race.
Yeah, it's, I think a bit of I guess a tale of what could have been for you this season. But what you can take away at least is when you've been here, you've been right on the pace and always one of the quickest cars on track. So yeah, as you said last week, looking at next season, I think you'll be very much a strong competitor there. So what's your plan for the end of this year? You're just going to try and wrap up the last 2 races and end on a high?
Yeah, I mean, every race weekend I just try to do my best I can, no matter if it's me not making the championship and or it's just me winning it by 400 points. It doesn't matter. Every weekend try my best to improve, find those little times, And yeah, so far through the latter stages of this championship, you can see it's paid off this weekend, last weekend, and looking forward to come back even stronger next weekend.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, yeah, I think that's pretty much everything for you. Max, you got any questions?
Yeah. Would you race a car if you could?
What's the question?
What? Like, would you drive a car very very fast if you could, like even faster than you drove today?
I mean, obviously, I'm gonna say yes, but it's hard to say. But yeah, I mean, if I had a car that could drive faster, then I could have probably driven faster. If that answers your question.
Right. So how fast?
Uh, I mean, it's really hard, but it's hard to write an estimate or like an accurate representation of how fast. But all I can say is just faster and the fastest I can go.
All right, makes sense.
Surprisingly good answer. Well done.
Thank you.
All right. Well, yeah.
Very well.
Good luck with next week's race, and hopefully we get to see you actually having some competition next time. Although I'm sure you perhaps prefer otherwise.
Yep. Thank you. Looking forward to amazing commentary from you guys as always.
All right. Thank you. See ya.
Bye bye.
Yeah. Again, very terrifying performance, I suppose, from Tema there. I'm not sure if that was the biggest win of the season. It's like 6 or 7. It was probably more than that in the end. But actually, no, he backed up before the line, didn't he? So never mind. He's not going to get that. But yeah, either way, it was still a very good drive from him. And we'll move on to our not second place finisher, because he doesn't want an interview. We'll move on to our third place. No, he's not here. We'll move on to our fourth place we already had. Fifth place finisher, if he's here. Yes, he is. Sol, let's get him in. Sola, hello.
Oh, hello.
Or should I say Yusuf? Hello.
Yeah,
So
hello.
yeah, how are you? Yeah, how are you doing after today's big win?
Very good, very good.
I mean, in all seriousness, though, I think it seemed like a very solid drive from you, and coming across the line for, I believe, a P5 finish in the end. That was, yeah, I think seemed like surprisingly, it was actually a pretty clean race for you, despite not being for everyone else.
Yeah, even though I crashed someone out, but yeah, it's pretty clean.
It's clean by Tier 1 standards. That's what I'll say.
Yes,
Yeah.
was only a small part of the puzzle in Tier 1.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, how was your how was your pace today then? Are you happy with the result?
I wasn't really expecting any pace because I literally just hopped on like in mid-quali, decided to join randomly,
Fair enough.
so I wasn't prepared or anything.
Yeah. All right. The Chad move, just show up and get P5 out of nowhere. I guess that's
Yes.
yeah, that's how it goes. I think the most important thing today, like I say, was definitely just keeping it clean. So yeah, I mean, how messy was the race from your perspective? Because there was a lot going on for us.
Messy?
Yeah.
Not gonna messy, but okay, but yeah, it was quite a lot of shit happening around me. Everyone was moving on the braking, absolutely everyone, and weaving on the straight was everywhere.
Yeah, I did definitely see a bit of that. There was not the best.
Also, I posted a great clip of lap
Oh,
1 in the final chicane.
oh yeah,
So great.
that's
You
good
see,
actually.
first you see someone moving in the braking zone, and then you see the goat taking a shortcut and getting
Yeah.
1 minute of time penalty.
Nice. Okay, well, I can't wait to see that one after the race. Or not after the race, after the interviews. But yeah, I think still it was a good job by you. I'm sure after how today's race went, we can confidently predict that Tier 2 will be the most boring race in human history, and there'll be 0 overtakes.
Yeah, it's gonna be DRS trains.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that said, Max, you got any other questions?
Yes. How many tiers will you race in?
7.
Wow.
Damn, that's a lot.
That's a lot, dude. You sure you can do that?
Yeah.
Are they like all on the same day or like separate days, like one a week?
No, it's
Or one a day?
7. It's every day a week.
Every day, race every day of the week.
Yeah. Yes.
Man,
well,
this guy's good.
I was gonna say, there you go, people. That's the solar grind set. This is the standard that you need
Yeah.
to be looking up to.
Next
So-
season, it's 7 tiers in LRC. Next season,
Yeah,
guys,
And-
don't worry.
6 of them are just soul.
Yes.
All right, can't wait. It's gonna be awesome. Yeah, I think I've got nothing else to ask, unless you want to say anything else. I'll take that as a no. I'll take that as a no. All right. Well, yeah. See you next week then. Maybe you reserving next week in Tier 1?
Maybe. I feel like it.
All right, fair enough. In that case, maybe see you next week, and if not, then good luck with the Tier 2 race tomorrow.
Thank you.
See ya. Man, who is that guy? Always just shows up. Anyway, we'll move on to our P6 finisher, if he's here. Oh, no, he's not here, that's a shame. We'll move on to... I actually don't know the rest of the order from there. Who was 7th? I think it was Bacon Boy's 7th, if I remember correctly. He's not in the interview room, so we'll move on to our 8th place finisher, which is the returning Trimmer Shave. Let's get him in. Trimmer, hello.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
Well,
Yeah, I was going to say... Huh?
I haven't actually spoken to you two in an interview before.
Yeah, you haven't. I was going to say, it's been a
Probably
long
never
time.
do it again.
Fair enough. Well, you asked for one race and you got your one race. Yeah.
Yep.
How did it go today? And also finishing in the points as well. So you're going to be pretty pleased with it.
Yeah, technically P5 because that penalty was unfair, but so I think I'm pretty happy with this. I got some good racing, some not so good racing, but yeah, this was a nice comeback without worrying about points or penalty points or whatever. Just having fun driving,
Mm-hmm.
and I did.
You did drive.
Oh yeah, 2012.
Yeah. So all 27 laps of the race you drove them, and it was a good result in the end, I've got to say. Where did you start actually? Where did you qualify?
P14, I think.
All right. So, I mean,
Would have been P15 if Pimple didn't get
yeah.
sent back to the back.
Yeah, sent to the back rooms. It's unfortunate when that happened, but you got, you're still though able, even if the penalty doesn't get removed, still able to get a P8 finish. That's and P5 on the road.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think a very good job by you. And do you have any more plans to race in either tier this season?
No,
No,
that's it.
okay.
I said
That's it.
I said one race. That's it.
One race?
I don't need any more.
All right, there you go. Well, I hope everyone enjoyed the Trimmer Shave cameo. Max, this is your one chance to ask Trimmer Shave a question.
So basically, there's a car, all right, and there's a pit lane. Now you don't know before getting into the pit lane if the car will find a pit crew or if it will not find a pit crew. But the pit crew will know if the car is coming or not. So the question is, will the car find someone, and if not, why?
I think the cheeseburgers go well with fries.
Yeah, makes sense to me.
Perfect answer. Couldn't have said it better myself.
Makes
Yeah.
absolute sense.
The infinite wisdom of Bulgaria. Thank you, Trimmer Shave,
Yes.
for bestowing this upon us today. And yeah, good job with today's race. I can't wait to see you in 3 years.
Yeah, we'll be back for another cameo.
Yeah,
Surely.
Alright. surely. Okay, well, good job in today's race, and see you whenever I see you.
Thank you and bye-bye.
Bye.
And next, I will try to get in Llewellyn if he is here. He did ask to be pinged when it was his time for an interview.
So let's ping him.
Let us do that indeed. Okay, things just happened in the chat. That's okay. The world moves fast. What doesn't move fast though is Llewellyn getting into the VC, so we're not going to get him in just yet, and we're going to get somebody else in instead. Unless is Llewellyn a team VC? Let me check. No, he's nowhere to be seen. All right, in that case, we will go for who is next in the order. I don't actually know. I think Loris would be the next one. So let's get Loris in. Loris, hello.
Hello.
Hello. I think you're next in the order since Leland is dead. But yeah, it's a very topsy-turvy race for you today. Very chaotic for everyone, but unfortunately, P13 in the end. Yeah, how did it go for you, and what do you have to say?
I mean, it went well until the end. What the
What?
What?
Okay.
Okay, one second,
Went
Leland.
well
One second.
until the end of the second save.
Okay. As you were saying.
It went well until the end of the second safety car, and then yes, it didn't go too well. As you
Yeah.
have seen, I kind of got like, I tried to overtake her on the outside, was fuller on long side, left enough space. I don't know, he probably understeered into me, and then I got pushed off a bit. Tried to rejoin. Lily's car was angling to the left, while the next car was to the right, so that didn't help me at all. But yeah, shit happens.
Yeah, it was.
Every race.
I can't really say from the offboard whether it was anyone's fault or race incident or whatever, but I did say before that restart happened it was going to be kind of inevitable that something was going to go on with the Lily being on hards and having the massive pace difference to everyone on the medium tires. So yeah, it's just unfortunate that you were, I suppose, the first in line, and yeah. But either way, before and after that, though, do you think you drove a good race still today?
Yeah, I think I would have finished P2 or P3 if nothing happened, or possibly even P1 with Tamer's 5-second time penalty and him losing a lot of time. Yeah, but I think Tamer was still way too fast for me to like stick with him, so yeah, I just had to accept that. Make it to the end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I guess a bit of a story of what could have been for you today then. So, yeah, instead of talking about this race, we'll move on to looking at next week. And yeah, Abu Dhabi. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I quite like that track. I wasn't too good last season, but I feel like I have a better setup now that suits me a bit more. So it should be more fun than last season. So hope I can fight for maybe top 4 again.
Yeah, I mean, that seems to be where you are in most races this season. You can always find you in the top 4. So, yeah, see if you're able to get back there. And as long as you keep it clean, I see no reason why not. So, yeah. Max, you got any questions?
Yes. I got sources that tells me that you will race in Formula 1 next season too. So, what do you have to say about that?
In real life?
I don't know. I just said that I just heard that you will race in Formula 1. I don't know if it's real life or not. So, just in general.
Yes. Look, I am Kimi Antonelli, that Italian guy. That's me. So, 2025 is kind of my year.
All right.
Great. I can't wait to see it. Can you sign my cheeseburger?
What?
All right, we'll move on to the next interview. Thanks, Loris. Good job with the race today, or not, depending on how you see it. We'll see you next week. Good luck.
Yeah. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
I don't know what just happened there. I don't know what just happened. We'll move on to the next interview with Leland, who is finally here. Leland, hello.
Yes.
Yes, welcome in. Is everything okay on your end? You ready for an interview?
Yeah, it seems so.
Okay. Yeah, well, I mean, I've got to say, I think there's going to be, if I'm not mistaken, I think once the reserves are removed, there's going to be a P5 finish for you. So, very good race today.
What? Wasn't
Yeah.
P6?
Yeah, you're P6, but Solar was a reserve, so he'll be disqualified. So, I think that'll be a P5.
I'll take it. Honestly,
Yeah.
I'll take it. Not gonna lie.
How was the race for you? Because you were running around outside of the top 10 for most of the race, but then crossed the line and you were P6.
Okay. So start of the race, a mess as usual. I got something in my tires that I really dislike usually, which is called grass. I don't really like to touch it, especially with my tires. So yeah, I got pushed. Then there was the funny Pablo incident because we love traditions here at the LRC, and the Pablo moment. Usually, you get a Pablo moment. So there was a Pablo moment that collected me, Bimpo, and Saula. Then okay, we proceed with the race, and I got killed by my teammates AI, but fortunately enough, I didn't get any damage. And yeah, while I was minding my own business, I saw like cars in the gravel randomly, and yeah, actually, my pace. I was unlucky because if I didn't get killed by Teams I would probably like in the range of DRS with Soul, etc. I tried to push until the end, but I couldn't catch them. Otherwise, I would probably maybe fight for it. But yeah, P5, I'm very happy with that. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's a very very good performance by you. As I was saying to Saul as well, the most important thing to do is just trying to keep things clean, and you were able to do that on your part. I mean, obviously some people didn't do that around you, but either way, you were still able to keep things in the right order, keep it facing in the right direction. Didn't get any penalties as well, and I don't think you did. And yeah, got a very impressive P5 finish in the end. So yeah, so very good job with that. And well, do you think you can repeat the feat next week?
If we keep this sort of standard, maybe. But no, actually, I got 5 seconds penalty because since I'm actually acoustic, I pitted in the pit lane, so I got that 5 seconds removed from the second safety car. Actually, the safety car have been very good to me. I started with the soft, and it was the right choice, and I ended with the mediums. Only 3 pit stop that helped me gaining positions against the other drivers. And yeah, most important thing was just to keep the car on track, minimizing mistakes. Of course, contacts were left and right. Unfortunately, you cannot avoid them. You just do your part and you race, and yeah, results happen. So again, pretty satisfied with the result, more than satisfied with the result, and there's nothing else to say, in my opinion, about the
All right.
race.
Well, in that case, I'll hand over to Max. Do you have any questions?
Well, if you could choose, like, for one or even, I don't know, 20 drivers if you really want on the grid to crash out dramatically during the race to give you an advantage, which one would you choose? You can choose as many as you want.
So 19 is okay.
Oh, yes, of course it is.
I mean, probably the 2 guys ahead of me. Or to add some drama, do we still have a championship contender, or did Mao win at the end?
I mean,
We think he
technically
won.
we have one, but if you choose correctly, we can still have a championship fight.
Actually, once was the championship decided, but let's not talk about that. Those are like my skeletons in my fucking armadio. I don't know how to pronounce that.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, probably, yeah, that's the answer.
Okay.
All right, I'll accept the answer then.
Grazie.
I'm
No
glad to
problem.
hear it. All right. Well, yeah. Good luck with next week's race, and hopefully get to see you back in the points again there.
What's gonna be the next race?
As Abu Dhabi.
Abracadabra. Is it the last one, no? Or is it?
As the second to last.
Penultimate.
I cannot count, guys. Like, yes, okay.
That's okay.
Abu
We
Dhabi.
can't either. We fucked up the title deciding race. It's fine. I know how it is.
I was stuck. My count was stuck in Bahrain. So yeah, minor inconvenience, but yeah. Abu
Fair enough.
Dhabi, tough track. I struggle usually in the first sector, but we'll see how it's gonna pay out. And yeah.
All right. good luck with that, and we'll see you next week.
Danke, danke, danke.
All right, and we can move on to next of our interviews. There's still actually a surprisingly large amount of people left to get through. Next in the order, I think we have to move on to non-finishers here, so I will go in no particular order, and I will start with Tim Blaish because his name is closest to me, so let's get him in. Tim Blaish, hello.
Hello.
All right, well, you were the first of our interviewers who didn't make it to the checkered flag. Things just seemingly didn't really go your way today, so how was it?
Well, it was a very mixed race for me. At the beginning, it wasn't that bad, but then I got spun around, got to the back, got a little bit forward, got back to the back, and then I retired because, yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah, it was a bit of a unfortunate one for you, I guess. I think the first incident would have been the one with Bablo, correct?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then I didn't actually see what happened after that. Was there another incident after that one as well?
Yeah, when I think after the second safety car restart or so, Loris came wide in one corner. Then I overtook him, got an illegal overtake, wanted to let him pass, but then I think he clipped my front tire, and then I got spun again.
Yeah, that's...
And got wing damage, so yeah, that was the race done for me.
It's just very unfortunate timing. Well, in that case, I won't keep you talking about today's race too much then. How do you feel about next week?
I don't know.
Yeah,
chances for rain are basically 0.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's no, your best conditions aren't going to be particularly likely. I mean, maybe in Brazil though, so you can still hold out hope. But yeah, Abu Dhabi, how do you feel it's going to go?
I hope if I can get points, I will be happy.
All right.
So I'm not that confident.
Yeah, it's a tricky track, I will say, so it's understandable. But yeah, I'll wish you the best of luck, and at the very least, hopefully you're able to finish next week's race and not be taken out. So yeah,
I hope to.
In that case, I will also ask Max, do you have any questions?
First of all, well, Abu Dhabi is actually quite easy to win. You just have to, ignore the chicanes, and then you're golden. That being said, I don't know. One stupid question I wanted to ask is, if I think we are at the end of the life cycle of Formula 1 2023. I think. I mean, I don't know if Codemasters really want to make another Formula 1 game or not, but that's not important at this point. But if you could actually add in Formula 1 2024, hypothetically, a track that comes from past games, which one would you like to add? Just a random question, because I have no idea on what to ask.
Well, I think I wouldn't actually add a track that wasn't in a previous F1 game, because the track was last raced in like 1953 or so.
Damn.
No, I know. I think I know what you're gonna say here.
Yeah.
Does it actually involve a certain wall? I have to ask. Like not exactly a wall, but a very banked corner.
No, actually
No.
not.
Not that one.
I think it's a more patriotic answer.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
No, actually, the Bremgarten ring in Bern. Because there will be like 20 corners, so basically 20 death traps for everyone.
Oh, that'd be great though.
But how fun would that be? For context, Max, he's Swiss. That's why he says that.
Oh yeah, makes absolute sense. For some reason I was thinking he was talking about the famous Avus ring, which is just true corners.
Well, that would be fun too, but I don't think with the 2024 cars it would make any sense.
I mean, we can try.
It just would be a 100 lap DRS train, basically. I think.
You can still try, but yeah, I agree with that.
The horrific sound of the V6 is just revving out all the way down the street. It'd be awful. All right. Well, with that very important question answered, I'll let you go and
Well,
wish you good. Oh, go on.
Actually, I have a second pick.
Second answer.
The
Go on.
old, yeah, it is the old Spa circuit, old
Oh, yeah.
layout,
Oh, good.
That's a
choice.
good one.
Good choice.
That's a
even
good
more
one.
death traps.
Even more death traps. Exactly. That's the most important thing.
Wonderful.
All right. Well, thank you for your invaluable responses, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, see ya.
Bye.
And we are going to move on to the last interview, potentially now, unless anybody else responds, which is going to be with Bablo. So, yeah, another one of the non-finishers, the first non-finisher who got disqualified on lap 1. Let's see what he's got to say. Bablo, hello.
Hello.
All right, so a very tough and long race for you today. There's a lot to keep on top of, just so many laps going by, lots of chaos. But yeah, I mean, a whole 18 corners you made it, so how did it go for you today?
Yeah. Now, let me see. So, yeah, basically the start was like the qualifying was kind of good. I gained on my last lap on qualifying. I gained 1.3 seconds, I think. Then the start, I had like a very, very slow start. So I got like behind Lily, but I quickly overtook her again. I think I can't remember. But yeah, coming to the last infamous corner. Now, like, I'll be real. I outbraked myself, and there, yeah, I tried to steer away, and then the game glitched and gave me a million 3-second time penalties,
Yeah,
which gave me a minute.
and then instantly disqualified. So, yeah, we haven't seen the clip yet. Well, that'll probably be the first one we see. So, yeah, I'll be intrigued to see how that goes. But from what I've heard, it was. I mean, at least if it was, even though it ruined your race, it was still a certified Babler moment. So you can be proud of that at least.
Yes.
All right.
No, but
well,
I thought the braking zone started later. So yeah, just
fair enough.
misinterpreted the corner and how slow everyone was going.
Yeah. At least you didn't.
Step one.
At least you didn't do the Latifi and take the wrong corner. Could have been worse. Yeah. In that case, I wish you. Well, actually, how do you feel next week's race is going to go? You think you can make it past lap 1?
Abu Dhabi. Oh yeah, probably. I hate Abu Dhabi. The track. So yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna make it. I
Fair
believe.
enough. Yeah, I do not enjoy the track very much either, so I entirely understand. Yeah, I guess just in that case, a case of you doing your best. You think you can maybe scrape a point if it's chaotic enough?
Oh yeah, probably. If I just practice, then I get a point. Probably.
All right, well, there you go. That's something to aim for. And yeah, Max, you got any questions?
Yeah, if you could like if you could like yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that wraps everything I wanted to ask.
Yeah. I love our conversations here in the commentary box. I'm really glad to hear that from you today, Beplo. So
yeah, quite awesome.
Fills me full of confidence. I'm sure you're in prime position to go on and win the next 2 races. So good luck with that.
Yeah, I'm gonna win the championship.
Oh yeah, it's already over. Beplo's win. It's official.
No. I'm gonna score 400 points in one race.
All right, this guy's breaking. He's actually gonna bend the rules. Get onto the track.
Yeah.
Rewrite the rule book whilst he drives. This is gonna be impressive.
Yeah.
All right,
Just
there you go.
hoping, you know.
All right, there you go, everybody. That's your reason to show up to next week's race. Pablo is going to be in prime form. It's going to be unbelievable. It's going to set the whole track on fire. So, yeah, we want to be there
Yes.
for that. Good luck with whatever you're about to do.
Yes.
All right, see ya.
Bye-bye.
Another wonderful interview. And that was not actually the last. We got one more person, which is going to be Lily, who is going to come in and talk about her race. So let's get her in. Lily, hello.
Hello.
All right. Well, interesting race for you today then. Didn't end too well in the end, but yeah, how did things go from your perspective?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I haven't actually raced the F1 game for about 5 months, so I suppose it was to be expected to be in the back of the grid just generally. Yeah, I mean, quali, I messed myself up. But into the race, like, not much pace, to be honest. Just going around in circles, thinking about what I'm going to do next after the race. But yeah, obviously, I presume you have seen the said incident.
We did.
Yes, I mean, it's a difficult one for me. I mean, Aloris is, he's going side by side with me, who hasn't been racing for 5 months. I'm going to be slow, naturally slow. I say I'm not a perfect racer. I make mistakes like anyone. But he's quick. He's smart. But it's a silly move. It wasn't my battle, as you know, because me and Afari were both on hard, so we didn't pit for the safety car. I was gonna let him by. Like it wasn't my battle at all. But he decided to make it side by side. I go over the curb, take the line. It's gonna push me out wide anyway. I understeer after I hit into him, and then I go back into his car, and it sends him off to the gravel and me over the grass. So, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it's a racing incident. From my point of view, I did as much as I could, but I don't know. He'll see it differently, as he clearly pointed out in league chat. But we move.
Yeah, I do agree. It was a little bit of a rushed move from him. Could have waited 2 corners and made a bit of a easier move into the hairpin, but either way, it was these things happen, like you say. People make mistakes. So yeah, do you have any more, with this being your return for the first time in 5 months or whatever? You have any more plans to continue racing this season?
I don't know. I've been mainly chilling, playing Assetto Corsa competitors only. At the moment, F1 is there, but after today and just generally playing the game, it's not been overly fun. So I don't know. Maybe we'll see. Well, yeah, we'll just have to see.
Fair enough. In that case, yeah, good luck with whatever the future endeavors are. Either hopefully getting to see you race again, or if not, then just with ACC and the crazy physics over there. So yeah, have fun with that. And Max, you got any more questions?
Yes.
Oh yes.
Since you play Assetto Corsa Competizione, will you consider driving the safety car for future seasons?
Yes.
Absolutely fantastic.
That's all we needed to hear. All right, thank you for the interview, and yeah, good luck with whatever the future holds.
Nice. Yeah, thanks for the stream, guys.
See ya.
No problem.
See ya.
All right, and that is actually going to wrap up the interviews this time, and we can now move on to what I think is going to be a hell of a lot of clips, if what I've seen before is to go by, or maybe not too many. I don't know. Let's have a look. Okay, yeah, no, we've got quite a few here, a lot more than last week. So let's get things started with clip number 1, which is going to be from, of course, Pablo, and see if we can figure out what the hell happened in his incident, shall we say, at the final corner. And all right, got it loaded finally. Let's have a look. Nope, I switched to the wrong scene. Now let's have a look. So here we go, into turn 16, yeah, way too late on the brakes, and oof. Yeah, one...
I don't quite understand that language, but I can feel it.
Yeah, you don't need to speak Dutch to know what he's saying. That is actually absolutely insane. I mean, yeah, it's a mistake. Mistakes happen. Just misjudge the breaking point. But to get disqualified for that is like incredible. Like he has 3 seconds at this point, and then 3 seconds, 1 minute. Like what? Yeah, that's incredibly bizarre. We've got the strangest clip out of the way first. I have no clue what's going on there, but I'm glad to see that Codemasters are back at their usual shenanigans.
It is what it is.
Yeah. Alright, second clip is going to be from, not the helicopter flying over my house actually, but from Phil. Let's have a look. This is exiting the pits here in qualifying.
Yeah.
And
Fucking hell.
Lily just stops there.
I think we saw that
Brake
during
check.
the live stream.
Yeah, we did. Let me close my windows. 1 second. There we go. That's a bit better. All right, yeah. I think we did see that on the stream. I think what happened. My best guess is Lily probably saw the Ferrari of Hashim, who had he'd actually just finished his lap, but I'm gonna guess that she thought that he was just starting a lap and tried to get out of the way.
Fucking hell.
But yeah, it's a little bit of a weird scenario, but thankfully, nothing bad came of it, and I don't think anyone was actually impeded. So yeah, got away with it. All right, and the next clip is going to be from Phil again. I think we've got quite a few Phil clips in a row. This one is from lap 4.
I saw something in the wall and she
And
was like...
whoa, okay. That's and then Phil loses the back end as well. Wow.
I think we catched that on stream as well.
I don't remember honestly. So this is
Maybe.
on lap. Yeah, this is on his 4th qualifying lap, and this time, definitely was impeded there.
And she was like...
I'm not sure if that may have been her AI after retiring from the session. I'm not sure, but either way, just very much gets in Phil's way, and unfortunately caused him to make a mistake and ruins his final lap of qualifying. Yeah, not something you like to see, but we will move on to the next one, which is going to be from the race this time, and this one is from lap number 5, coming up on Slinks, who are disconnected from the session at this point.
Slow down.
And I'm guessing this is going to be a dive bomb into the hairpin. Nice and simple. Gets it in, gets it stopped. And that's the whole clip. So there you go. Phil flexing a move on Slinks' AI. That's usual Phil shenanigans. And next one is from, well, who'd have guessed? It's from Phil. And this is, side by side with the Ferrari, and that is, that's the one that I wanted to see. So let me take another look at this one. So yeah, a Ferrari forces his way onto the outside. Phil really doesn't give him any room. Like even at this point, a Ferrari is already 2 wheels on the grass, and Phil just continues not to give him the space. So you can understand a Ferrari's frustration a bit, but he definitely turns across Phil there, and Phil was thoroughly alongside. So I'm afraid to say, the contact there was definitely on a Ferrari. However, Phil could have actually done a little bit more to help the situation by actually getting out of the way. But yeah, it's
well, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
What is going on?
And unfortunately, that was the end of Phil's race from there. I'll play out the rest of the clip.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
Great, I have rear wing damage, my race is done.
Okay, keine Sorge, das passiert auch den Besten.
Oh, fuck off.
Yeah, and that's the moment where the safety car comes out, and yeah, it makes sense why Phil retired now, because he had rear wing damage, so yeah. Even though the safety car would have helped, I think, had he tried to continue, it would have just been a bit of a spin fest for him, so yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
unfortunate.
It would have been very, very difficult to control the car with that kind of damage, so
yeah.
I mean, he did the right thing, I think.
Yeah. And we'll move on to the next clip. This one from Loris on the safety car restart. And I'm going to assume this is This is going to be trains letting him through. Somebody's watching the stream clearly. Impossible to give the call on, but here we go. Afari is now going to lead us away, and he gets the power down straight away out of turn 17. He's not going to wait around like Phil did. Yeah, so I have to assume that was just trains letting Loris through there, but either way. Yeah, Loris clearly agrees. Trains letting Loris back through, so does a sensible thing, but he's going to be vulnerable now to Hatchel. Look up the inside, but can't find a way through. He's going to be sensible as well. So heading to the SSC, and now we're onto the back of Lily, and yeah, we're seeing the final few corners of Loris being in the top 10 of this race, getting very close together, up the Dunlop curve, and I'll let past me take this one away.
What the fuck?
Side by side as Loris and Lily. It's not going to work. The two of them go spinning off the track, and there's the chaos that everyone has seen coming. Yeah, so that was yeah, that was Loris is on board. I will give another replay of that one, so you can get a closer look. And yeah, so they'd already made contact at this point. Loris turned in quite early, to be fair. Didn't leave too much room on the inside, but then Lily just gets a heap of understeer, pushes Loris fully off the track, and yeah. So that was game over for both of them from there on out. And we move on to the next incident, presumably. I actually don't know, maybe this one's an overtake. We've got a clip from Tim Bleish, which is incredibly loud. Hang on, let me turn that down. Alright, let's have another look at this one. Still incredibly loud. Actually, you guys can't hear it because it's an audio. It's a what do you call it? It's a desktop source, so never mind. But yeah, here we go. We've got Tim Bleish on lap 12 of the race here, heading towards the hairpin, following behind Elias, making a big old dive bomb up the inside. Some good commitment there. As like you were saying earlier in the race, Max, people were just not at all put off by the fact that there was a title battle going on, and just still going for moves, and yeah, made it sick as well.
I mean, you still gotta have a little bit of fun, don't you?
Yeah, for sure. I think that was a very nicely executed overtake by Tim Bleish, which yeah, he can now flex that he overtook the world champion in season 6. So that's good for him. And we have another clip from him, which is going to be from. Well, it's titled F123 is a horror game, so yeah, prepare yourselves. Here we go, we're on lap 17, so this is the second safety car. Running in P15, and I think, my guess is that this is going to be a safety car jump scare. I'll put the audio on for myself, unfortunately you won't be able to hear it, but let's have a look. Oh, yep, there we go. Safety car just turns up behind us, and... Yeah, it's, you know, prime F123 moment there. No other way to describe it.
Silent Hill. Prime Silent Hill moment there.
Alright, and we go to the next one. This one you will be able to hear, thankfully. This is Pablo taking a look at his penalties after the race.
We still don't know how, but that's the result of his work, I think.
What is going on?
Why is everyone laughing?
Honestly, one of the most incredible things I've ever seen. So, okay, I'm going to try and run the maths on this, which is not a good idea considering how today went. But I think that must be about 20, maybe 30 penalties in one incident.
What is going on?
Quite impressive, yeah. I have to say, really.
Incredibly impressive. Beblo in one race has absolutely destroyed Kateshi's record on penalties, and yeah, gets himself disqualified in one corner. So great job by him on that front. Can't wait to see how he beats it next race. Next up, he'll do it. He's Beblo, I'm sure. Let's have a look. Clip from Slinks here. We've got a sneak peek there.
Shenanigans as usual.
Oof, yeah.
Another safety car.
Yeah, that was just another angle of the Lily and Loris incident, and I've got to say as well, these guys were very, very lucky that Lily actually ghosted when she came back onto the track, because otherwise, well, I mean, Tama's race, that could have been the race winner taken out right there. So yeah, got quite lucky. Codemasters were feeling nice on that occasion, and yeah, clearly decided that Tama deserved to win this one. So these guys were able to continue on through and have a nice little battle towards the end of the race. And now we have the next clip from Slinks. Not this one, hang on, this one, there we go. This one is from the safety car period, and this is presumably going to be another angle of the safety car disappearing. Oh my god! Never mind, that's more than just, that's not disappearing, that's appearing. Let's play that again.
Elias is playing or not.
Nope.
Oh, what?
Oh,
no, the lot is those idiots!
Yeah, there you go. That's the pandemonium from in the voice chat. Everyone just does not have a clue what's going on. Slinks must have just had the scare of his life. Burned Mylander jump scare just materializes from the ground. Don't we just love Codemasters?
Like, imagine you're doing, I don't know, something during the day, and then suddenly Burn Mylander appears. Like, what you gonna do?
Yeah, I don't know. It's honestly one of those Formula One racing moments. Let's take a look at the next clip, and this is Slinks' view of probably the best moment of the race, in my opinion. Let's take a look at Slinks' penultimate corner.
Yes.
And yeah, straight into the pits.
You have still one lap.
I mean, it's one way to get into the pit lane. Not the correct one, of course, but it's still something.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at Alex Trains because he got a massive snap of oversteer. But then he was able to correct it. Slinks has a look up the inside, takes too much curb, and then loses the back end. And I mean,
Just kidding.
It's just,
still one lap.
It's poetry in motion, really. That's the only way to describe it. And also, I can announce on that note as well. We have our driver of the day. The vote has been cast. Slinks' rear tires have won the vote for driver of the day. So congratulations to Slinks' rear tires. Put in a great shift, and yeah, I think that's well deserved. And we'll move on to the second to last, I believe, clip of this race, and this one's from Hashim. Let's take a look. This is from qualifying here, heading into the chicane through 17, and 17 seconds down at the moment. And what?
Are you all right? Engine off. Engine off.
What just happened? What just happened? What just happened? What?
Paranormal stuff happened.
Bro, these guys thought it was Halloween already with the way this race happened. The hell was this? I mean, it's not actually the first time we've seen someone hit the pit wall this season. I think Bacon Boys back in Imola, but that one made a bit more sense. But this, I have no idea what Hashim was doing here. I'm going to be completely honest. He was never in a million years going to make it into the pits from there. So,
I mean, I've read that he's this connector controller.
The controller,
got disconnect,
right?
So that would make sense, I think.
Yeah, that explains it then. Yeah, just goes fully to the right and gets completely smashed into the wall. Lots of interesting things happened today. This one we didn't even get to see, but yeah, there you go. And we'll move on to the final. Actually, no, never mind. There's still even more clips left somehow. Let's take a look at the next one from Hashim then. This is on the first safety car restart, so if you thought the previous clip was paranormal, take a load of this. Getting ready to get back up to speed, and yep, Phil puts the power down now, everybody gets checked up, and then we end up with this, pushed all the way to the inside. Full commitment though, I've got to say. Great job by Hashim there, just zero fear whatsoever. Perhaps not the most sensible move, but yeah, made it work, and got up about 2 or 3 places. And then into the S's, still people going side by side, going 3 wide for a second, right round the outside. I've got to say, this is incredible stuff from Hashim. Just making all the moves, 2 moves in 1 corner around the S's at Suzuka. That's incredibly impressive. And yeah, then onto the back of Phil, and I think he's going to make that move. Oof, it taps into the back of him, but I think into the hairpin. He's going to go round the outside. Let's see. goes a bit later on the brakes. Phil actually tries... Well, I don't even know what Phil was doing. I think he just messed up a little bit there. Taps into the side, but Hashim gets through and gets into P3. So, yeah, I've got to say, that was some incredibly impressive driving by him.
Yeah, literally gain positions or die trying, so great stuff.
Yeah, it's like it's driving through, cutting through like it's from the Matrix here. Inch perfect in this one, and then again, up at turn 6, going through the S's. Going 3 wide around turn 6 is not something I ever thought I'd see, but not only do they make it work without crashing, but he doesn't even... well, he gets the move done as well on 2 cars, so yeah, very impressive, and very nice move from our P2 finisher. I think that the podium was well deserved after that. And we move on to the next clip. We have the first clip from Sol. Let's take a look at this one, if I can find the right scene. There we go. And this is the Bablo moment, I believe. Yeah, there you go.
Not Pablo! No, Pablo, come on!
What was that? Was that Pablo?
Yeah!
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, come on!
Bro,
What a fucking idiot, man! Yeah, he got disqualified! Congrats!
Yeah, you can hear Lillian about to say congratulations. I'm clearly not best pleased with that. Understandably so, yeah. It's just, as we saw from Bablo's POV, just missed his braking zone, had to go to the inside, and then, yeah, does the prime Liotzi and gets disqualified.
Well, it's something.
It's certainly one of the things that happened today. Alright, how many clips do we have left? There's still many more to go. We're never going to be free at this rate, but let's try. Let's keep progressing towards the exit, and let's take a look at Trimmersheav's view of lap 11.
Oh my god, he just rear-ended someone. Rear-ended. Oh my, what?
There is so much going on there. I have literally no clue what just happened. I need to play this in like 0.1 speed.
Yeah, I told you, man.
Let me turn the volume down. So, all right, let's see if we can dissect this one. Give ourselves a challenge. So we have XDLL darts to the inside to... I don't know if he's trying to make a move or just trying to... Yeah, he'd gone too late on the brakes, smacks into the back of a Fari, who loses the back end and just goes skating off into the runoff. Phil somehow manages to escape unscathed, then Trimmer, who's carrying in even more speed than the guys ahead of him, has to go onto the grass, loses the back end, and yeah, the Trimmer actually comes off worse in this situation, so yeah. And gets very lucky not to be cleaned up by Elias there. So, yeah, prime tier 1 shenanigans. It's the things you come to expect around here. Alright, let's see. The next clip, also from Trimmer. And let's take a look if I can find the right scene. There we go. So this is lap 10 here. So 1 lap sooner. This is the initial restart. Yeah, everyone just gets checked up. 4 wide. It's unbelievable.
Oh my god.
And yeah, Trimmer makes it work quite nicely. So yeah, there's like absolutely insane scenario, but everyone, I have to say, did very well to go almost the entire lap without crashing until the chicane. So yeah, good job to everyone there. And let's have a look at Trimmer's next clip of his race start.
Right out, left in.
So lights out, goes to the inside, and yeah, gets great traction there, even on the medium tyres, just making up places after place after place. How many was that? It gets up to P9? It's going to be side by side with the Okata. Yeah, P9 from 15th on the grid. That is seriously impressive from Trimmershev.
What the fuck is going on?
He's going to get P8 even as well, yeah. Gets past Kateshi, who makes a mistake, and up into P8. What a start.
Yeah, some great drives today, eh?
Yeah, for Trimmer's one and only race this season, I've got to say he should be pretty proud of that one. And let's see, we have another clip from Trimmershev. Who else? This is also lap 11. Could have just posted the entirety of lap 11 to be honest, but here we go. I've got the chaos train continuing up towards Spoon. Phil's just terrified, understandably.
No, don't push me.
Yeah, just falling off the track is Trimmer there, and everyone comes up the inside. So yeah, there's too much going on, too much happening.
Mostly NASCAR race, I think.
All right, we've got 3 more clips to look at. We're almost there. There we go.
And
So
you know, like
this is going to
the
be
planes going like 200
another view
kilometers
of
per hour,
Beblo's
you see
penalties.
those arrows going like phew, yeah, phew. That's what I saw.
Said yeah.
Yeah, I think this is just Lily looking through her penalties, but yeah, this is what we care about here. Incredible drive from Beblo today. I mean, really, he should have won Driver of the Day for this one. Okay, next clip. Also from Lily. On the way into the pits, are we going to speed? No, we're going to almost come to a stop. That's the most insane pit entry I've ever seen, but... Oh no, this is from Trimmer Shave, my apologies. And yeah. Gets
this
brake
is like the opposite of speeding into the pit lane.
Yeah, it's slowing into the pit lane. This is how the Bulgarian Civil War is going to start.
No,
From whatever the hell this is. There you go. Eventually they make it into the pits and make a nice normal pit stop. Again, just tier 1 things. Okay, next clip is
interview.
Actually from Lily, I think. Let's have a look. And I think this is going to be the final one. Perhaps, maybe. Let's see.
Why are you guys so depressed? Come on, say something.
Yalla, I'm listening to Lord's interview.
Man, I cannot even fucking make clips because I don't know why Windows is acting.
I don't even know what's happening there.
And Nvidia GeForce.
It's just a lovely tap, nothing more.
Yeah.
Cannot fucking...
Just the kind of things that happen at the bottom of the field. But yeah, there you go. Well, that is going to be it for the clips today. And yeah, I think. Hang on. Yeah, that's all of them. Soul, I'm not sure on that. I'm sorry. I hate to say. Actually, you know what? Let me see. Let me see if I can download it. If I can download it, I'll add it. Alright, well, hang on. Okay, I actually don't know how to do it. I have no idea. Let's see. Let's see. Media source. Nope, not media source. I'll add. Is it media source? Maybe it's media source. Actually, I'm pretty sure I can just drag and drop this in. Give me a second. Okay, there you go. This is what Sol wanted everyone to see. There you go. All right. With that out of the way, we can now end the stream. So yeah, thank you everyone for watching today's race. I think it was incredibly chaotic, but still a very fun race to watch and commentate. So yeah, what's your closing thoughts, Max?
Well, thankfully, sometimes we don't have too many safety cars and we get good racing. And today, thankfully, was one of those days. So let's just hope with 2 races to go that those other races are, similar. Like, not too chaotic, but with good racing like we've seen today. So let's hope for the future, and let's see what's going to happen next week when the sun goes down in Abu Dhabi.
Indeed. And yeah, title's already been decided, but we'll try and, like I say, I'll try and do some justice to that, and actually, maybe we can actually talk about that in a bit more depth this time next week. But yeah, until then, we have the Tier 2 race will be on this time tomorrow at 7 PM GMT. As always, I will be racing in that around Japan, and yeah, you can come and see if it's just as chaotic as this one, or if we actually get to have a nice normal fight. Who knows? Only time will tell. And yeah, aside from that, we will see you this time next week for the penultimate round of the season in Abu Dhabi. Good night.